Whoop, whoop. There it is. Whoo! What is going on, everybody? Coach Colin here. As you already knew, waiting. Thank you guys so much for waiting. We have a bunch of things that we have to tackle today. We got Baron continuing to demolish the official narrative in regards to Charlie Kirk. Then we have Tucker going off once again with one of these beautiful monologues that he is continuing to do. I love it. I love that Tucker is doing the 40-minute, really not used to that, but still, the 30-minute monologue and then going into the interview. I think that's how it has to be for the rest of his career. And then we're going to jump into just a little bit of Candace, but not more so something that's going to be happening in terms of investigating foreign money being given to American influencers. It's a weird thing because, you know, well, I'll get into it when we get into it, but you could guess who's going to be on that list, right? Or maybe not. I don't know. Then we got Joe Rogan talking about what happened when he told two different stories. He said someone made a video saying that he lied. I don't know who that could be. I didn't say that in my video. Did I? I don't know. Hope he's not talking about me. We have Tyler Boyer addressing Candace Owens, calling him a deviant of sorts, as we have all heard her call him before. He addresses that. He addresses meeting Erica and all these different things. So that's going to be very interesting. And then someone in the administration is starting a podcast. You heard that right. Someone in the current administration, they're not former, they have not left, they are not leaving, but they have started a podcast. Okay, fine. You know, last time I started with Tucker, this time I'm going to start with Baron, I think, because Tucker's going to go dark. Tucker's going dark, and also it seems like there's people who are agreeing with him, people who you wouldn't think. I mean, almost even like the president. I mean, it's very, very weird with what he has to say. And you could guess what he's going to be talking about. He's going to be talking about a small place in the Middle East no longer receiving aid and hoping that America kind of detaches themselves from this nation. And again, he's going to have a very odd alliance or an ally that you guys are going to see. You won't believe who it is. It's absolutely crazy. Which makes me a little skeptical of what's going on. But anyway, let's jump in here. Let's handle the most important business first. The new picture on the wall, right? I'm sure you guys have seen. Baron even reposted it. I think Baron has casted his vote for which picture he wants to see on the wall. I think he has casted his vote, as have many of you. We have Candace Owens, okay, right? Thank you for making, who made this? Manny Angel, thank you very much. Back by popular demand, as he says. There you go. There's that. There is the FU Ben Shapiro and the small horse you rode in on picture. I am actually a fan of this. I am a big fan of this. Right at that point. If I could have the whole image, like forget this picture, just the whole image of her putting the emphasis on the F like she is, I think that is a solid picture, okay? Let you guys cast your votes. And then there is there is Baron's picture here. This was actually made by somebody else. What is this? Petunia made this. I think this is a pretty solid one as well. I think this one fits the characteristic of the show the best. Aesthetically, it looks the best. You know, I could just take that and make a picture of it and we're good to go. This is Baron Coleman. It looks like he's saying a that's all, folks. That's what it looks like he's saying. I don't imagine Baron's actually saying that. I haven't heard him say that before. I don't know if that's one of his catchphrases or anything like that. You know, could be wrong. I've been wrong before, so I could accept that. But that's what it looks like he's saying. So let me know. Let me know your votes. Let me know. We'll see. We'll see who it is that we put up here. I love the Joe. Definitely the FU Ben Shapiro. I know, right? The Ben Shapiro one, it seems to be like that's a solid one, right? Also, wild card could be up for consideration. We have Cash Winnie Putel in the house right here. Let me tell you something. This could be up for consideration. If I could get this in a nice square on a nice little canvas, this I could go with this. Or maybe we have that on this side. Maybe we got the FU Ben Shapiro on the other side. Maybe that's what we go with there. I'm just saying, this one's pretty good. This was pretty good. He's pretty doused in honey. We might get the other honey picture, but it's just one that came up. Who made this one? Natalie, thank you so much. Appreciate that so much. You have no idea. Those are the type of things that just make my morning. Thank you so much. Cash Patel, just covered in honey. I mean, and not for any reason. It has nothing to do with his girlfriend, the reason he's covered in honey. That's not the reason at all. Has nothing to do with it whatsoever. He just likes honey. He has a shaky hand. The honey gets everywhere. You know how it is. But when it comes to him and his girlfriend, completely loyal to America, loyal to no other place. And, he didn't block the Charlie Kirk investigation. That's just a hoax. That's a Democrat hoax that he blocked a foreign investigation into foreign ties. That's a Democrat hoax by that George Kent. He's a traitor, don't you? It's actually been revealed that the whole thing of him being under investigation by the FBI, not true. How about that, huh? Not true at all. He wasn't under investigation. They just said that. How about that, huh? That's something that I learned just last night. It's actually not true. He is never been under investigation. He had access to all the intel right up until his last day. How about that? Anyway, what Matt Walsh posted. Oh, hold on a second. Hold, please. Where did he post it? On X? I haven't looked into Matt Walsh in so long. He's a sad case. He's sad. Great guy, too. By the seam of it, Says a lot of things I agree with. What did he say? Insane Gavin Newsom. He reposted this. Listen, whatever you're talking about in terms of Matt Walsh, tag me on X, and I'll see it, because I always keep my X open just in case there's any updates as I'm going through everything with everybody. But let's jump into the Barron stuff. You let me know about what you saw with Matt Walsh, and I will see it right away, but I can't see anything right now. And we got to get a move on, ladies and gentlemen. Candace Owens comments on Barron just announcing he's going, Barron going love at 5 p.m. CDT today. Oh my gosh. Hey, what kind of episode was it yesterday? I don't remember any of that. I guess every episode is love. I shouldn't make jokes. Every episode is love. In a rush. Barron was in a rush. There were some things he had to get out there. But Candace Owens commented on this. She said, "This is absolutely true. We reported on this September 19th episode and included in our timeline. Tyler Robinson was in police custody before 7 p.m. I somehow completely missed the subsequent court filing, which confirmed this. An absolutely incredible find by Baron Coleman. This is why an open source investigation has been so devastating to the feds. They are pinned here." I can't wait to hear what they have to say about it. I mean, this is one of those things that they just can't comment on it. And they just have to make Barron and anybody who's watching and believing him, make him look crazy. That's all they can do. You were very quick on the whole Matt Walsh thing. Thank you very much, sir. We will talk about that in a minute. Something else to note from our earlier episode, they also lied about what Tyler Robinson was wearing when he came into the police station. The time and the outfit were massive lies from Governor Cox's press conference. That's interesting. That is very, very interesting. Now, of course, like I said, she was just answering to Baron Coleman. She was just saying, hey, this is true. Just realized it's one of my best friend's birthdays. If you're watching, happy birthday, Mallory. She was watching before, so we'll see. We'll see. I gotta send her a message. But yeah. So Candace message comments on that, and then we move on to Baron, ladies and gentlemen. Which clip do I have here first? I'm gonna play the 52 one because he's doing a little bit of a correction here. Correction from what I showed you, from what you guys all saw. We are all Baronites. Is that what he calls people? Baron Nation? Is it Baron Nation? You can't do that because Lionel Nation? What high IQs? We just all call ourselves high IQs. High IQ Nation? I like it. You guys are all a part of that nation, so I'm sure you guys have seen it, but he did issue a correction from yesterday, but it is a correction. He is doing the right thing there, but it doesn't make any of what he said look any less credible. In fact, it makes the people who are trying to push the official narrative look even worse, in my opinion. Let's go.
Right. And I think that's why they had to make up this.
Of course. I promise you that's the only clip that's sitting at 2.4. That's the only one. I corrected all of them except for this one. Let's go.
Timeline. So I'm going to show you. I don't want to listen to this press conference again, but I want to show you. This was the press conference we showed last night, and now we have footage that has the actual time on it. Lower right-hand corner down there. I can't make it any bigger. It says 7:51. Anybody want to guess what time they walked off the stage? Anybody want to guess? 8:02. Isn't that convenient? Isn't that convenient? This was the press conference where they announced they were releasing additional video footage and 4 more pictures. They walk off the stage at 8:02. Oh, who called it 8:02? The family friend. That's convenient. That's really convenient. Thank you, family friend, for waiting until the press conference was over so that when I call Mike Smith, he's not standing on a stage with Governor Cox and Deputy Commissioner of whatever, Bo Mason. No. He's not up there with them. That's amazing. It was almost like the commissioner, the retired deputy, was watching the press conference live and was like, all right, are they about to end? They're wrapping up. Okay, they're walking off. Let me call the sheriff now. Guys, we were wrong last night. I'll be the first to admit it. I was wrong in that I thought the press conference started at 8 because the FBI press release said it started at 8. It started at 7:51, and it lasted until 8:02. Just happened to be the exact moment the guy called. That's awfully convenient. So we got a lot more to talk about tonight. I just wanted to say.
So, very interesting. So it's almost like they're making their timeline match up perfectly. A little too perfect. They released more photos of Robinson, allegedly. And just right at that moment, he calls. Just as all that's happening. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. I think this whole thing's done. I don't even know what is there left. When are they going to reach out to Baron? Baron's not going to tell us when they reach out to him. You know that. The defense, he's not going to tell us. He can't. I don't think he'll be able to. I think that's something he's going to have to keep close to the chest. But I mean, that's going to happen. That's going to happen very soon. They have a hearing in May, I believe. I feel like somebody said May 17th or something like that. So they're going to reach out to him eventually. That's just going to happen. And boy, oh boy, when that happens, good sir, be prepared for the slop team. The slop team to be slinging that slop at Baron. It's going to be absolutely wild. But we'll be here for you. Don't worry. Don't worry. I will ridicule anyone who comes your way. Don't worry about it. Got your back. I will make absolutely disrespectful impressions of that person. I will give them a nickname. I will throw them into the lore, the zeitgeist that I'm building. Fleet will throw them into the Fleet universe. Don't worry about it. Well, we got you. We got you. Anyway, next clip, How to Patsy, and then the Black Mirror episode. This is where he touches on something that reminded me of one of you who called out that Black Mirror episode. I believe it was called Shut Up and Dance. this he kind of touched on that exact premise of that episode. If you don't know the premise of that episode, I should probably tell you before I play the clip. Premise of the episode is that there's a kid who looks a lot like Tyler Robinson, and it seems like he's doing a bunch of illegal activity. I'll just sum it up like that. He's doing a bunch of illegal activity, and as you're watching, you're like, this guy's like possessed. Like, why is he doing this stuff? You can tell he doesn't want to do it. You can tell he's just not that type of guy. And it turns out at the end, they have terrible images. They know, or maybe even pulled him in and tricked him into viewing terrible images, which he actually enjoyed. He liked the images of young, So that was the episode, and that's what you figure out at the end. Sorry to spoil it for anybody. I have to tell people though. And that's what you realize at the end, like, oh, this guy's being blackmailed pretty much. He kind of touches on that a little bit here.
Well, if he's involved, and that looks involved to me, and remember, Candace reported he allegedly told someone at the hospital he'd been paid to do that. A guy who might know who he is and know he has that predilection is a guy like that officer who deals in that field. Well, the question has been raised over and over again. If Tyler's a patsy, how did he end up involved in this? Well, the same way. Either Lance or Tyler may have also had this predilection, may have also gotten caught up in this at one point. And if you do get caught up in this, you've got an option. You can go to prison for that. It won't go well for you in all likelihood. There's rumors about what happens to people who do that and have that predilection and end up in prison. So you don't want to go that route. So they offer you an out. Well, we could put you in prison for that, or you could do us a favor. I need you to be here at this time, carry this, drive over there. We'll call you and let you know where to go next. I mean, you take your chances, right? If your option is to go to prison for solicitation of little people or looking at little people, if that's your option, maybe you take the drive around and be seen here and be seen there and run this errand and run that errand during the day and hope you get out of it. That would make the cop a bad guy because he's part of the plan. So I'm 50-50 on this guy. Sometimes I think, man, this guy's a hero. He's the only reason Tyler Robinson's alive. He got in touch with the family. He got the family asking where Tyler Robinson was. They figured out where Tyler Robinson was. They got in touch with him. They got him in. They got him in protective custody. And now he's safe and he's alive. And the case remains open for investigation. And we begin to find out they lie. And then half the time I'm like, yeah, but the guy worked in a field that creeps work in. I mean, he's around a bunch of creeps all day. And he would know who all the creeps are. He'd be the perfect person to be a patsy generator. So I go back and forth on this. But it's neither here nor there. That's all speculation, because what we know for a fact is by 6:25 p.m., Tyler Robinson is in custody in Washington County, and he's being Mirandized. I got several questions last night. What does that mean, Mirandized? It's just a verbation. It's turning the word Miranda into a verb. Miranda versus Arizona, I think was the case, or Arizona versus Miranda. It was the case that established you had a right to remain silent, you had a right to an attorney, you had a right to an appointment of attorney, you had a right to an attorney being present when you're questioned, and that you had to be alerted of all those rights when you were arrested. If you were in custody and you were interrogated, those are the two triggers. If you're in custody and you're being interrogated, you have to be told all those rights on the record. We know this most frequently because we watch, I don't know what the modern cop shows are. I'm thinking NYPD Blue, but I'm old. We watch old cop shows, Law and Order, NYPD Blue, Chicago PD, and every time they arrest somebody, The Wire, greatest show ever, third greatest show ever. Every time they arrest somebody, they come in, and as they're putting their hands behind their back, like, you got a right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you. You have a right to have your attorney with you when you're being questioned.
Is this an Officer Tatum impression? Is he doing an Officer Tatum impression right now? That's kind of my wheelhouse, sir. Is this an Officer Tatum? This is either Shaft or Officer Tatum. This is one of the two.
It's just part of the American system. People overseas may not have heard the word Miranda or Mirandized, but that's what it means. It's just the set of rights you get that the officers have to articulate out.
Now, in that whole thing, and that was a good Officer Tatum impression, I have to say. That's probably exactly what he sounded like when he was an officer. You know, I'm just saying, you gotta give dues, right? You gotta give your dues. But the person that he's talking about, as he's saying a patsy generator, is the guy who got Tyler Robinson to turn himself in. I have him down. Me and Lance had him down as Michael Edward Mitchell. And one of you even sent me like detailed pictures of him actually retiring and the whole thing. So he's standing with people. I've seen the guy's face. So apparently he was in some really shady stuff. He was like a patsy generator. He was constantly around or looking into people who were, as Baron said, little people, little code work for Zach Costello, if you're watching. Okay. We don't say the whole thing that we're talking. We say little people, okay? Solicitation of the small, okay? We get it? All right. So, yeah, it made me think of that episode. It made me think of that Black Mirror episode where I was like, like maybe that. I'm not saying Tyler is into anything like that. And it doesn't have to be that. It doesn't have to be that disgusting type of stuff. It could be anything. You just don't want to go to jail, period. You really don't want to go to jail for that type of stuff because everybody makes it hard for you. It's terrible. But you don't want to go to jail, period, at all, for anything. Traffic stops, tickets, assault, nothing. You don't want to go to jail at all for anything. It's terrible. It's like a horror film being in jail, a real prison with real murders and killers. You don't want that. It's absolutely terrible, terrifying. So, could he have done that to Tyler? Or could that have been done to Lance? Could some kind of patsy... I'm so sorry. I got you in this crazy frame here, Baron. I apologize.
Loud to you.
Okay, that's a little better. So could that have been done to Lance Twigs? Now, again, not saying Lance is into anything like that, but he was into some stuff. Apparently. I mean... He got a straight guy like Tyler to get into some pretty weird, freaky stuff. So, he's pretty weird and freaky himself. Allegedly. Furry. I mean, like, can I not say this guy's into some freak? I have to say allegedly. Guy's a furry. What are we talking about here? He was a furry that was into doing dudes that looked like Tyler. I mean, what are we talking about here? This is like Diddy level stuff, pretty much. You know what I mean? You're not in the same room as Diddy, but you guys are walking by each other in the hallway. I mean, this guy's freaky, clearly. So, could they have done that to Lance Twigs? I wonder, because Lance seems to have gotten off. All of this stuff has happened, and Lance is just like, okay, bye. And the Bureau's like, don't worry, you're good, you're good. And then when they had to talk about Lance in one of the hearings, I don't know if you realize that, they didn't want to actually talk about him. They wanted everybody to leave, and then they were going to talk about him, which is very weird as well. So, makes you think, makes you wonder what's going on there. Could there be some kind of patsy generator? Somebody has to generate the patsies, right? They don't make themselves. Somebody has to put them in position. And then, we've been talking about second shooters and things like that. Valhalla did that whole breakdown of the angle that Tyler was at not really working. I was showing a different spot where a shot could have came from. Is it possible that he was told, just like Baron's saying, you're going to get up here with nothing. You're just going to get on the roof. Because, I think even Baron showed in his episode yesterday. They're kind of blending together because I've been watching both kind of like on repeat. But he showed Tyler going up the stairs. One leg completely bent, another leg completely bent. And every scenario where somebody actually tries to recreate a Mauser or a long rifle in somebody's pants, they're not able to do that. They're like hobbling up the stairs. So maybe it's just like, go up there with nothing, and you're just going to be on the roof and just keep watch. Okay, I'll keep watch. Then a shot goes off. Something happens. He's like, oh my God, I got to get off this roof. That's if he was even there. I am going to show another clip right now of the Tylers in the staircase. That's what I like to call this one. The Tylers in the staircase. Sounds like a band name. But this is where he analyzes that. But who knows? Who knows? I think that's a real thing. Also, I should bring up the point. I forgot to bring this up. Tucker was talking with a senator or a congressman. I forget who it was who he was talking to. But he was saying, and again, go with that same type of code, when you get found with images of small on your computer, everybody knows in Washington, it's a known thing that you're being set up. It's like a known thing. It's like just a thing to silence you. Like when you see that in Washington, you know something is going on. Like that guy didn't do the right thing. He didn't say the right thing. He didn't co-sponsor something he was supposed to co-sponsor. He went off the beaten path. And that's why they're finding these images on his computer now. That's like a known thing. Crazy. That's what could have happened to George Zinn as well. I already did a video on that months ago, where it was like all of a sudden, nobody can talk to him. He's gone. He's radioactive now. Do you really want to talk with a guy who's got found with these images? Well, guess what George Zinn also did? Think about this. George Zinn also decided to, and this is according to Candace, said when he was in the hospital that someone paid him to do it. Well, he probably wasn't supposed to say that. He probably got a little itchy, realized he was in a little more, allegedly, educational purposes, entertainment, just entertainment, blah, 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 all that stuff, perhaps, maybe, all that good stuff. My opinion, he probably got a little bit itchy, and he was like, oh, it looks like something really crazy happened. I could really be on the hook for something here. I don't really like what's going on. And then he confesses to the nurses. Apparently, that's what Candace said. That he said, hey, I was paid for this. Didn't say who paid him, but he said he was paid to do what he did. Then the next thing you know, he's locked up and he gets in there for those images. So now he's really in there. Whereas before, maybe he was promised like, hey, don't worry, you're going to go in there. They're going to see that it wasn't you. You're going to just be a crazy old man and they're just going to let you out. Don't even worry about it, okay? But we need you to do this. He didn't go by the rules. Boom, images on your computer. Done. He's radioactive. He's in there now. He broke the rules. Done. That's his punishment. I don't know. But Barron's right. Somebody has to be generating patsies. Someone has to. Anyway, let's get to the Tylers in the Staircase. Terrible emo band. Absolutely terrible emo band.
On that story, we're gonna double down on the timeline.
Oh, I told you guys that was the only one. I thought it was. Ah, come on.
Prove it again if we have to. So there's a lot I want to go through. First, I want to clear up one other thing. We showed two sets of pictures last night. Do I have them still pulled up? I might. I do. We showed two sets of pictures last night. I'll show those again right here. Of Tyler, the alleged shooter, the person who's alleged to be Tyler Robinson. I'm now convinced there were 3 people captured on camera yesterday, on the September 10th. I'll show you the first set that was released. And I'll pull it up here. This was the first set released. There were 2 pictures released. This is the first one here. If you zoom in, you can see his face is smudged out here. There's obviously this thing has been blurred. They're hiding something or this picture's been altered, but it doesn't look like Tyler Robinson. That hat does not look like the same hat Tyler Robinson is later seen wearing. I don't think he was supposed to be captured by the Dairy Queen camera. This obviously is not Tyler Robinson. I don't know who that is, but it's not Tyler Robinson. This was the first set of pictures released the morning of September 11th. Then we get this second set of pictures that are released the evening of September 11th. This is a different person than was captured in that first image, I believe. If not, it's just another person that's not Tyler Robinson. But I think this is the second person, or that's option 1. Again, decision tree. Option 1 is it's a different person. Option 2 is this picture has been altered. And Kash Patel admitted as much when he said these were enhanced. Note to the police, stop enhancing photos of criminal suspects. You're changing the looks. You're changing the way they look. Don't enhance them. Just give us what you got. If you're worried that the stills don't actually accurately capture it, give us the video. Show him walking up the stairs. Show the other people walking around. Maybe we'll recognize them. But this is the second set of images. You'll notice here this logo is popped off the hat. The hat has a little fold here at the top. It's kind of light. This is the one I want to key in on. Because this one here has cars in the background. There were a lot of questions that were perhaps these pictures were actually taken at a different time. Maybe, just maybe, these pictures are not from that day. So I'll come back to this photo in just a second. But this is the second picture. You can see clearly his left knee has been here. Third picture, again, that looks like a different person. Tyler Robinson is bald There's a tremendous, basically bald. He's got a tremendous amount of hair pooching out the back here. The hair looks black. It looks curly. Looks not like Tyler Robinson's hair. Again, curly hair in the back. Nice, full, almost looks like a ponytail or something tucked up under here in the back. But let's go back to this picture for a second because I want to go to a little tool we have that we can look at the parking lot from that particular day. Someone asked me to do this last night on the fly. I was not able to do it on the fly. After the show, I stayed up late. I was following up on all the questions that people had, and I was able to track down the image I was looking for. So let me take a second and pull it back up because I have to go back into it here. Let's see. Panorama. I think it was the north view.
So let me just look here. He's talking about Tyler Robinson and the hair and everything. You know, I never even considered multiple people. It's never been a consideration that popped into my head at all. Just put it right here. Let me see here. Yeah, I guess you can say he's thinning. Definitely thinning up top, you know. Taking a little lesson from Prez Orange there for sure, you know. Right, the back is like a little bit. It is lighter. It does seem lighter than the pictures that he's showing. Definitely. I wonder. But I mean, that's too obvious. Wouldn't they just say that out loud? Would they really wait? Does the defense really have to wait on things like that? Do they really have to go like, yeah, that's thin. That's thin right there. That's thin. This is coming from someone who went bald at 19. I mean, that's thin right there. You know, that's where you start to go, you know, well, you start feeling around your head and you go, what kind of shaped head do I have right now? I might just shave my head, you know. White guys have a thing where they're like, oh, well, am I going to look like a skinhead? You know, black guys are like, oh, whatever. I'm going to look like Michael Jordan DMX. It's hard, but you got to make that jump. You know, Joe Rogan made that jump. You got to make that jump sometimes. You see here. Yeah, you know, it's getting thin. Anyway. Also, I just want to pull up, and I'm going to pull this up while I'm playing this, but there are videos of people who are trying to show you what it looks like when you have a rifle tucked in your pants. And what Baron just showed kind of blows that away as well.
There we go. Where's the parking lot? It's over here. Oh, maybe it's the west view. Yeah, it's this view. I want to show you this right here. See these two cars right here? I'm zooming in real tight. There's a pickup truck here kind of parked off at an angle. You can see the big tires poking out. And you got a little hatchback here, a little silver hatchback parked a little farther forward. I want you to look at where this is compared to where the picture was taken. This is the tunnel right here that he walked through. This is where that image was captured. It was captured in this tunnel right here. There's a camera on this side down here, the part at the bottom. There's a camera right there. And it pictured him, it captured Tyler, or not Tyler, the alleged Tyler right here. And so the angle would have come right out towards these two cars right here. That's where that angle would have gone. And I want you to look. Those are those two cars. That's the truck backed in, the big wide tires. And up here is the hatchback pulled in much farther back. So I think that definitively ends the discussion because the satellite image I just showed you was from September 10th. That satellite image was from September 10th. So I think that definitively ends that discussion of what day was that picture taken. I think it was taken on September 10th. The question is it Tyler Robinson? And if it is Tyler Robinson, the question is, did he then go and climb on a roof, take a prone shooting position and fire a rifle? But we don't have to worry about that tonight. Because if that happened, if that was Tyler Robinson, and Tyler Robinson did indeed climb up to the roof and they had it on video the whole way, and they can prove that maybe that's his cell phone in the pocket, and they know where his car was, and they've got him on camera this whole time, and they see him climbing the stairs to the Losi Center, and they see him walk to the edge of the Losi Center right before the big bang and they see him lie down in the prone position, probably put the backpack down in front of him, prop a rifle up on the backpack. They can see the kick of the rifle because it's a 30-06 now. It's going to bounce. And they see the shot. And then they see him grab the rifle and they see him run off, and they've got clear imagery of this. And they track him right into those woods over there. And then he leaves and he's wearing different clothes. And if they have all this, you don't lie about what time he was taken into custody. You don't lie about him posting on Discord after he was taken into custody. You don't create a Discord log that doesn't look anything like a Discord log, that has formatting errors, that has visual elements that don't look right, that has letters that don't look right. You got to go back and watch Danks' treatment of this. It's really good. I think he's right. I like Danks. I think he does good work. I think he's a conscientious researcher. And he's becoming a pretty good little broadcaster. He's getting better with experience.
This guy said pretty good little broadcaster. That's a funny way. That's a funny way of saying it. Don't call me a little broadcaster. Danks. Don't take that laying down, Danks. Don't take that laying down. Clip that up and address that. But yeah, I've been hearing a couple of you message me about it. Nobody sent me any clip. People have just been telling me about it, but they don't send me any clips of him actually talking about it. But there's been at least 5 people who have told me about this breakdown that he did. I'm someone, I don't need a whole lot of information. When I'm connecting my red strings and I'm in front of the whole thing, connecting all the things, you tell me that the person's name is Clipperstein, and I'm done. Oh, Clipperstein found it? Clipperstein was the first one on the case? Is that so? Okay, well, I don't know which part of that name I trust less. I don't even know. Your name's Clipperstein. Where are you located? You okay? Heard they were raining down on Tel Aviv the other day. Are you all right, Clipperstein? Who's this Clipperstein? You're either in FBI headquarters or you're in that little place in the Middle East. You're in one of the two places. I don't trust anybody named Clipperstein. That's a weird fabricated name. I have no idea what to do with that name. Anyway, just kidding. I'm sure Clipperstein is a very upstanding citizen of wherever he's from, Pakistan, place in the Middle East, wherever he's from, Clipperstein. Soon as I heard that, I was like, oh, case closed. Case closed. These are fake. Close the book. I'm good. Anyway, what's next? What we eating? We having lunch? Where's Gary? Get the steak dinners out. Get the Egyptian plane fired up. We have places to go. I didn't need to hear the rest of that. That's absolutely ridiculous. Clipperstein. Anyway. So, you wouldn't lie about all of that. You wouldn't make all those, allegedly, make all those things. My opinion, you wouldn't make all those things up if you had him doing all that. And would they be allowed to say that? I do wonder that sometimes because, there's this mountain of evidence. I don't know if you've heard. It's a really big mountain. I'm sure wherever you are, look out your window, you'll probably be able to see the peak of this mountain. It's huge, apparently. It's absolutely gigantic. So there's this whole mountain of evidence. Couldn't Erica say, couldn't somebody say, I guess you couldn't, but couldn't they say we have him on video? Wouldn't that be the thing to say? Jack Posopic, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, but Jack, Fort Huachuca Jack, Blake, Andrew, Erica, Tyler, couldn't one of them just say he's on video? Like, Blake seems to be allowed to say that he confessed to his parents. Blake is saying that with complete certainty. That he confessed. A bunch of people have said that. Couldn't they just say we have him on video? Isn't that something that they would show these guys? Because apparently they all have access to this mountain of evidence. Isn't that one thing they could say? If they don't have that, how does the case even work? That's why so many people are suggesting that he might walk. I think I saw a video from Lionel saying that he might walk. I think Barron has said that a couple times. There's been various people on X talking about this guy getting off. Which, if he was a part of this whole patsy maker, and he was just one of the decoys. Remember when I was talking about all the decoys? I was going through them all. If Tyler was just one of them, think about how far away the person who actually did it has been. He's all the way back in the Middle East, in that small place. I'm not going to say which place. Could be Jordan. Could be Saudi Arabia. Could be some other place. He's all the way back there, eating hummus. What? They all eat hummus over there. What's the big deal? Tucker Carlson, a bunch of hummus eaters. I love hummus. I don't have any problem with hummus. I think hummus is delicious. I don't know. You know, I have a little ADHD moment from time to time, and here's one of them. Why don't we find a case that is unsolved and have Baron and Daisy look at it? Not now. I'm not saying interrupt the flow. I'm just saying at some point. Wouldn't it be crazy if these guys started solving unsolved cases? I'm just saying. I think they can do it. That was just a thought that I had while the video was playing. There's all sorts of stuff bouncing around in my head all the time. Now we're going over to the next clip. Lance Twigs. Lance Twigs, ladies and gentlemen. And I think who said it? I had what you said pulled up. Oh, I lost it. But somebody was saying for sure Lance Twigs is working with the feds. I mean, that's what it seems like to me. I don't know how else to put that. It seems like it to me, but I don't actually know. Can't say that I do. But let's play this Lance Twigs part quickly, and then we're gonna move on to. I think I'm gonna pull up Lionel. I found a clip while this was playing. I'm gonna pull up some Lionel.
That Lance's mom, Lance Twigs. Let's drill down on his mom for just a moment. Then we'll get to spy planes in a second. Let's drill down just a moment to Lance's mom.
Let's drill down to Lance's mom. Oh, I'm so immature. If you laughed at that like I laughed at that, we're definitely friends. I am very immature. Anyway, let's keep going.
He's an interesting character. We've just now started our dive into the family of Lance Twigs because I think he's playing an outsized role that we've been ignoring. This is Lance Twigs' mom's Pinterest. This is his mom's Pinterest. Oh, hold on just a second. Oh, I can't look at it because I'm not a member. I'll show it anyway. This is his mom's Pinterest account. She's an interesting character. This is the mom's Pinterest account. She is a former national gymnast. She was on the U.S., I think, Olympic gymnastics team. She went to Stanford and was a gymnastics person there, got a psychology degree. She's a life and weight loss coach. She's a sports performance and confidence coach. And an author. We'll find out in a moment. A #1 best-selling author, even though I can find no evidence of anybody having her #1 on anything.
If you have all those coaching, I know I'm from the coaching world. I've worked with coaches and doctors and all sorts of things for years before I even did anything like this. If you have all of that, you for sure know about hypnosis, for sure. Even if it's not written down, it's something that all coaches dabble in, and they look into hypnosis. They see how far they, especially when it comes to weight loss and confidence and just general life, there is always a hypnosis component with the ones that are, big. And then on top of that, you're into psychology as well, for sure. I'm not saying she would do that to her son. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying she could. And she for sure knows about hypnosis. There's no way she doesn't know about hypnosis.
Go to her Instagram here because she has an interesting follow. She is a follower. Let me show you here. This is her Instagram page. She follows the sheriff, Nate Brooksby. She's a follower. She follows him, and guess what? Or rather, he follows her, I think is what it is. So that's Nate Brooksby following his mom, and the mom follows Sheriff Nate Brooksby right there. So we've got some sort of alignment between the Lance Twigs family and the sheriff. Not sure exactly what it is. Not sure exactly what it is. Now let's go to her Amazon profile to find out she is more amazing than we ever believed. This is her Amazon profile. She is a #1 best-selling author, Amy Twigs. I'd never heard of her. I'll admit, I never heard of her. I looked up these books. I never saw any of these books. Become a Self-Coaching Ninja. My Flippin' Awesome Journal. Athlete's Mindset. flippin' awesome gymnast. I've never seen any of these books. I mean, that one only has 19 reviews. These others don't have any. But that is #1 best-selling author, Amy Twigs, mother of 4 amazing teenagers. That's subjective. I mean, I don't know about the other 3, but one of them is at least a very subjective amazing. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. If we're using adjectives to describe Lance Twigs, amazing may not be high on the list. It starts with A, so maybe it's at the front of the alphabet. Maybe you have a bunch of them alphabetically lined up and you just picked one. We have, amazingly, this picture, and as soon as I saw it today, I thought, well, that guy looks familiar. This is some of her family. This is her son, Lance's brother, going on a mission. And I looked at that and I thought, that guy looks like the guy in the stairwell. I don't know if it is or not. I don't know if that's a rumor, but he sure looks like him to me. It looks like the guy in the stairwell. That's almost him with the hat and sunglasses. It's amazing. There's our buddy there. Tyler's roomie, alleged roomie. But we got some family photos here on the Instagram. Does this have music in it? No. Okay. I'm gonna play this. Let me back it up a little bit. This is from what account is this from? Ashley Denning, 1020. Ashley Denning. So let me play this. This is another connection here. Where is it? Here it is. Here's yet another connection between the Brooksbys.
Holy shit.
Oh, she says an ugly word. Sorry.
Between Lance Twigs and Nate Brooksby's family. So, you know, Nate Brooksby, the one who quietly retired at the end of March after being the first person to get a phone call from the supposed retired sheriff who knew the Robinson family and was going to quietly turn Tyler in. Let's get into it. So Lance Twigs' mom, her name is Amy Twigs. As you can see right here, that's her. And on her Pinterest, she's only following 13 people. Out of those 13 people, what do you know? Catherine Brooksby. That is Nate Brooksby's wife. What the heck is going on? If you don't believe me, this is her Facebook page. That's the same picture in her profile. And she also claims that it's been a couple of years since she's been able to be vocal about who to vote for. But I guess now that her husband isn't a sheriff anymore, she can do that.
Interesting. Sheriff Nate Brooksby has resigned suddenly. He had like a COVID resignation, died suddenly, resigned suddenly. Okay. And that's the Washington County Sheriff. Just to jog your memory here, Nate Brooksby was the guy that initially came out. It was to the Washington County Sheriff's Department that allegedly Tyler had turned himself in.
So she only follows 13 people on Pinterest. But one of them happens to be the wife of the sheriff.
So you know what that is, right? You know how social media works, right? When you get an account, they always have like access your contacts. So then it shows you your contacts and who will have this account. Pinterest. They'll show you all the people who have Pinterest, and then you can follow all. It seems like that's what happened. It seems like she just signed up because she wanted to look at things, because that's what ladies like to do. That's what I like to do with tattoos. I like to, I have a Pinterest account just so I can see that stuff. It seems like she did that, added her contact. So I don't even think it's just social media. I think she for sure has that lady's contact information, which is really, really weird to me, because now we're seeing a connection between Lance Twigs, right? Lance to his mom, to Catherine Brooksby. I think it was Catherine that said it, right? And then to that sheriff. That sheriff is connected to the person who had Tyler turn himself in. Tyler is connected to Lance. So now we're almost seeing, again, we're seeing this weird thing where it's like, we have Lance pushing Tyler to become a whole different type of person, a furry no less, right? Weird situation. They're all really smart. Lance is apparently really smart. Tyler's really smart. They're living together. They're banging, apparently. Power couple, So we have that. He pushes him, again, allegedly. This is just my mind. Seems like he pushes him to a certain point where he's viewing Charlie Kirk as a terrible entity, and he wants to get involved. Maybe he doesn't take the shot. Maybe he doesn't even have a rifle, but maybe he's just supposed to get up there. Doesn't realize that Lance has actually turned him into a patsy. And this whole thing just starts to kick into gear. Even through Lance's mom. And again, yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but it's like we didn't think that it was crazy to start looking at Erica's mom, right? We thought that made complete sense. And then Candace went into the grandparents and Uncle Jack and you know what I mean? So it's not the wildest thing to think that Lance's mom could have some connection. I mean, she does. Could have some involvement. Allegedly. Not saying that that's a real thing, but it seems like that's what's being set up there. So that is very interesting. All of that is very, very interesting. What's the last thing I was going to play here? I don't even have this one written down. I don't even have this written down here. What was this?
Because what happens next is incredible. What happens next is absolutely incredible. There is a planned trip. The day Tyler Robinson turns himself in, there's a planned trip. One of these planes. This is not Axle 10. This is Axle 21. It's a different tail number, a different plane, but the exact same program. And I'm going to highlight it here for you. I'll zoom in as much as I can before I pull it up so that you guys don't get lost. This is the day Tyler Robinson turns himself in to the Washington County Sheriffs.
This is the plane part.
There's a planned trip for one of these very highly sensitive, fancy planes. This is September 11th, 2025. It leaves Ontario, California at 6:59 p.m. It lands in El Paso, Texas at 10:15 p.m. So it's in the air a little over 2 hours. I guess you lose an hour going that way. And we had looked at every single plane that had flown in and out of St. George in and around the time Tyler Robinson was turning himself in. Because we wanted to know, was anybody else on the ground? And this plane did not show up on the local landing scheme because it wasn't supposed to be in St. George, Utah. I'll show you the track of the plane, and then I'll show you some telemetry of the plane. Here is the track of that flight. It leaves Ontario, California here on the left, where the little yellow plane is, and it's headed this way, and it's going to land over here. So you would think, what's the shortest distance between two lines? Between 2 points, it's a line. So you would think it would fly this way, right? It would go from here over to here, but it doesn't. It goes up here. And we zoom in and we say, what's up here? We can't tell. There's no labels on this map. This is tail number N2100L. It's the same type of plane. It's the same Hades program. So we go and we pull it up on the ADSB. You'll never believe where this plane went that night. This is while Tyler Robinson is at the station. This is St. George, Utah. This is where Tyler Robinson turned himself in. St. George, Utah. You can see if I back it out here. This plane leaves Ontario. It does not fly over here to El Paso, where it's going. It flies northwest. And it does a little loop over St. George, Utah. And at one point, it's flying very low and very slow, just like its brother plane did the day before at the Charlie Kirk assassination. It's flying 126 knots at one point. And it circles around. The entire circle, it arrives on the scene around 2:35 Zulu time. And it leaves the scene around 3:10 Zulu time. So it was there about 45 minutes in this area right here. You can chalk that up to coincidence. You can see how it loses altitude after it passes Las Vegas and holds that low altitude and then drops a ton of altitude as it circles around St. George and then heads back out. You can say, oh, yeah, well, lots of people fly from Los Angeles to El Paso via Utah. I mean, I guess you could make that claim. But you've got on your hands an unbelievable piece of equipment. I'm going to show you a little bit about what this plane is capable of.
Oh, please do.
This is an announcement from the company that made it. Delivered the aircraft in support of the United States Army's High Accuracy Detection and Exploitation System, Hades, program. During a ceremony, let me make this a little larger for you here so you can see a little better.
Thank you. I needed that. I really did.
During a ceremony held at the U.S. headquarters in Wichita, Kansas. It's interesting, Wichita, Kansas. We've seen that a lot when we looked at the Egyptian planes.
Let's look here. The Global 6500 is a proven platform providing range, speed, reliability, endurance. It represents the ideal fixed-wing solution for the U.S. Army's next-generation intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance ISR aircraft, flying higher, faster, and further then the Legacy Airborne Sensors platform with the ability to deploy in all weather conditions. The support of, let me see here, move this, Bombarders 24/7 Worldwide Services Network. Global family of aircraft has become the platform choice over 10 different missions. That's very interesting. Huh. Because that was going to be my next question. I'm like, what are these planes doing as they're flying by? Right. You never see me make an episode about the planes. I don't have any of those episodes. Right. This is the closest thing, me talking about this right now. Because what are they doing? I guess they're able to surveil. Why would they surveil? Because Tyler's turning himself in. They're making sure everything's happening properly. Who would they be connected to? Because when we start looking at this, I mean, unless he says it in a few seconds here. Let me see.
A lot of Wichita, Kansas. A proven platform providing range, speed, reliability, and endurance.
Who are these planes working? Who is this plane working for at the time? I guess you can say America and, that small place in the Middle East, the great ally. I guess they work together, especially intel-wise. They work together pretty well, pretty much all the time. Makes you wonder what's going on here. I think it's way bigger. I think it's way bigger than people realize. I'm going to say that's the clip, Lance, but for the rest of you that are still watching, when we talk about it being way bigger, there is an ex-agency man who was John Carrico, who was on Danny Jones's podcast, and they're talking about exactly that when it comes to Charlie Kirk. Because this is a guy who, in my opinion, he got put in the jail by the agency. I don't think he's a plant. I think he is a genuine little whistleblower. He whistleblew on the methods that they were using to interrogate people. They turned on him. They put him in jail. Obama made sure that happened, along with the director at the time. So I don't think this guy's a plant. You can think everybody's a plant, 100%. It's okay. But I'm just going to play what this guy has to say about this whole Charlie Kirk thing. Let's get into it.
He also said, which was wild, that he was sort of shooed off the Charlie Kirk investigation because he thought that he was.
That is wild.
He said he wasn't able to do the adequate research or analysis on whether a foreign asset. He wasn't accusing Israel. He was very measured about that.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
He was not making any accusations. Right. He was just saying that there were loose threads that he wanted to run to ground. Mm-hmm. And he was not permitted to do that.
What do you make of that? Man, what do you think that is?
That bothers me very, very much. On the one hand, Candace Owens sometimes sounds like a crazy person when she says, when Charlie Kirk was killed, the Egyptian Air Force was flying in this
Nope, didn't say that. Didn't say Egyptian Air Force. Nope.
pattern, and it coincided with. It's like, what are you talking about? The Egyptian Air Force did not kill Charlie Kirk. That just sounds crazy. Mm-hmm. That's not what Joe Kent was talking about. Joe Kent was talking about clandestinely collected information that did not easily fit into the general consensus that this kid shot Charlie Kirk. I mean, it looks like he did, but who knows? You don't know until you investigate. And so you want to run to ground these little isolated bits of information that people are collecting, whether domestically or overseas. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't allowed to do that. I have no idea why he wouldn't be allowed to do that.
Have you ever heard of another case similar to this where people would be kicked away from the case? Other than JFK, maybe?
I was just going to say, even in the JFK case, the information was collected. It just has never been released, but it was collected. Yeah.
And the story just came out yesterday that the bullet that hit Charlie Kirk was not the bullet from that gun that they found, that the FBI said was his.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Can you find that, Steve?
Oh.
Daily Mail. The bullet used to kill Charlie Kirk did not match the rifle allegedly used by the suspect Tyler Robinson. New court filing claims.
That's a court filing.
A what filing?
It's a court filing. It's not just some guy shouting it on the street corner.
Zoom in. This was reported.
I find it so funny that he says that, like some guy shouting it from the street corner, because when he decided to flip on the agency, he was a guy just screaming on the street corner. Because even when he was talking about the methods they were using to interrogate people, if you know what I mean, forcefully interrogate people. Even the president at the time, I think it was Obama, I'm pretty sure, came forward and didn't mention him by name, but said anybody who's saying that is just like a crazy person. Like, he said the same thing about him that he's saying about Candace. It's so funny when people have, they have those blinders on and they can't see that. Like, they said that about you and then threw you in jail, and now you're out of jail, you're in the podcast circuit, you're becoming a creator, and now you're saying that about Candace. Like, you don't make the connection that sometimes people seem crazy because they're made to seem crazy, you know? I don't know. Gotta say my thoughts. I know I wanted to show you guys the video. I still gotta say my thoughts. I mean, you know, how could you be so blind?
Everywhere. Yep. His defense attorney now argued that the Bureau of Alcohol and Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives was unable to identify the bullet recovered at the autopsy to the rifle allegedly tied to Mr. Robinson.
Wow.
Oh, so they didn't.
Yes. Somebody just laughed. You like flipped on the agency? Yes. He outed the torture methods that they were using. He was the first person to out it. You probably heard about it and didn't realize it was him. And he had to spend time in actual federal prison for what he did because they made it seem like he was the one guilty of things. Yes, he actually went to jail. Yes, it was actually a terrible experience. And he has been completely traumatized by the experience because he was in there with real people. So yes, learn the story before you just go, agency, bang. You gotta learn the story a little bit. Just saying, you gotta learn the story a little bit.
Didn't say it was not.
Right. It just says they couldn't identify it. So maybe it was
Right.
destroyed, you know, when it ended up hitting whatever, the ground, the wall behind him, whatever it was.
Yes, but either way.
Okay, either way, it says it's being seen as exculpatory. It could be exculpatory, which is exactly why you need to run down these other allegations.
Mm-hmm. And also, none of the story makes sense. I mean,
No, it doesn't make sense.
like in the very early part of this, when the stuff that Candace was doing, like the research that she was doing and talking about, and I mean, like, I kind of get it from her angle. She's doing it live every single day.
Sure.
And she's going on again, like maybe a week later, there'll be new stuff that will point out to what her recording a week ago was false, and she'll make it clear, whatever. She's doing the best she can. But like, she's right. A lot of this shit does not line up. There's a lot of stuff that does not make sense, that was not explained by the FBI properly.
You know, and that's another thing, if I could interrupt you for a second. Why is the FBI involved in this? Charlie Kirk was killed in Utah by a kid from Utah who left his house in Utah, drove to the university in Utah, and allegedly shot Charlie Kirk. Nobody ever crossed a state line. There's literally nothing in this case that would make it federal, unless there was a conspiracy, in which case it would be a federal case and the FBI would be involved. So Kash Patel was asked this early on, and he said, we're just offering the FBI's expertise to the Utah State Police. Like, really? Is that just what it is? Because offering your expertise means sticking stuff in a FedEx and sending it to Utah so they can do with it what they want. Or maybe you put one FBI, lab person at their disposal. You don't have the FBI director fly out there with a plane load of FBI agents. It's not a federal case. I don't understand.
What, if you could put on your tinfoil hat for a minute, what could you speculate that really means?
I think that it's bigger than they've told us. I think that there may be something, maybe not Candace Owens, Egyptian Air Force conspiracy, but maybe it was a conspiracy of some sort. Maybe there are others involved. Maybe this kid was duped or tricked or recruited or something.
How come we haven't heard anything from this kid
See,
yet?
and that's another thing. Why haven't we heard anything at all? Not even from his lawyers.
Right.
In my own case, the only way we could combat Justice Department leaks to the Washington Post and the New York Times was to leak our side to the Washington Post and the New York Times. But this kid's, what's his name, Robinson?
Tyler Robinson.
Tyler Robinson. His lawyers aren't saying anything to anybody.
It stinks to high hell.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
That's a very good point that he said there with his own case, through his own experience, that they were leaking things in order to combat the other things that were being leaked. In this situation of Tyler Robinson, I don't know, I would consider, I guess, Erica being like, hey, I've seen everything. He did it, saying that to Barry Weiss, saying that to Jesse Waters. That could be considered a little bit of a leak. That is the tainting of the jury pool that they talk about all the time, right? Blake has said these things. He confessed. He said this. We've seen the evidence. Andrew talking about the mountain of evidence. It's crazy. Officer Tatum. These are these type of leaks. And it's interesting that the defense is not doing that type of thing back. Because, like he just said, that's what they would do. It might be unethical, but it's like you do have to fight that. I would guess that you have to fight that battle of public opinion. You know what I mean? You can't. How do you not respond when Officer Tatum is like, I see a mountain of evidence. There's a mountain of evidence. Y'all don't know sugar, honey, iced tea. I will tell you about this mountain of evidence by the noonday. This mountain of evidence is so gigantic. Buy my merch, 30% off, OfficerTatumStore.com. This mountain of evidence is so big and so bulbous, this mountain of evidence, okay? I got on top of the mountain of evidence. My mama was screaming, oh, Lordy, get down from the evidence. And I was like, no, mama, I got a harness on. I had the harness up on the top of the evidence, right? Because Andrew was already there. Andrew harnessed me up. He put me on the tie, and I had to put it on here, and I was climbing up the evidence. It's so much. How do you not respond to that as his defense team? I'd be like, this slack-jawed mother, we got to say something. But who knows? Maybe they have. Can you imagine that's Barron? They're just leaking only to Barron, if they are to anybody, right? But even he said they're not. He said they're putting out these little things that people are going to catch on to. Only he caught on to it. And now he's trending on X, which is great, but it also comes with a whole bunch of Fed slop slingers that are going to be coming his way very shortly, I would think. So very interesting. Very interesting. Why aren't they doing anything like that? He's saying it's bigger than it seems. I've been thought it was bigger than it seems, I won't talk about any. There's certain things I can say personally when I'm talking to people that I can't say here, but I don't know, man. It would make sense. It would really make sense, just this case aside, it would really make sense to immortalize someone as your biggest supporter rather than have that person, again, this doesn't have to do with the case at all, rather than have that person become best friends with Candace Owens once again and go on tour with her alongside Tucker. And you're talking about again, this has nothing to do with that case, but you're talking about the Talmud and talking about what you don't like, what you're seeing in there. I mean, those are your options. Again, I'm not talking about Charlie Kirk or anything like that. I'm just saying, those are your options. You can either have him immortalized as your biggest supporter ever, or he goes on a rampage with Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. Again, I'm not talking about this case, but those are your two options. What? Which option are you going to take? Like, really? We even have that? What option are you going to take? You're like, well, fly the Egyptian plane. I don't care. Get the guy, get the weird furry guy, get him on the roof, put this in motion. We got to do this before this guy goes too rogue. He was already sitting down with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro's eyebrows were doing all sorts of fancy dance moves. We don't have time for this. Immortalize him as our biggest supporter. Again, I'm not talking about the Charlie Kirk case. I'm just talking in general, We're all presented. We're all presented with these types of things, right? We all have to. Just saying. There are a couple more seconds in this clip. We'll play a couple more seconds.
And again, you don't want to point any fingers, but like, why is the second he's dead, Netanyahu all over every news station?
Yeah, we didn't do it.
Talking about, oh my God, he was the biggest supporter of Israel.
We loved him. We're going to put a statue of him in Tel Aviv.
Yeah. And at the same time, you have all this other information coming out that contradicts that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, I didn't even know they were going to say that. I guess that matched up pretty well, huh? Although I wasn't talking about the Charlie Kirk case. I don't know what they're talking about. I don't agree with them. Anyway, that is the clip, Lance. Let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know what you think happened. What do you guys think happened? You know? I think everybody has a good idea. Anyway, what do we got? Let's pull up this Lionel. I haven't seen this clip. I don't know what he's going to say. I'm going to play some of it. I have no idea what he's going to say. His vocabulary seems too big to be like swearing and stuff. Anyway, he's saying that Tyler is not gonna. Actually, Jesse was saying this too. Jesse made a video saying, will this guy make it to trial? Basically, that wasn't the title, but he was basically saying that. Lionel's kind of saying the same thing here. Apparently, let's play a little bit.
Kill Tyler Robinson. They have to. I'm sorry to break it to you like that. I don't know how to ease into it. They're gonna have to. There's no way this can be allowed to go to trial. There's no way that the.
Hold on. Do you hear that music in the background? Who's this person? Sawhorse R Ballistic. You suck for that music in the background. Anyway, if anybody knows what episode, if anybody knows the timestamp, forget about the episode because we have the episode right here. It's from this episode. If you can find the timestamp of when he's talking about this. This is a 3-minute and 30-second clip. I didn't mean to say 3-3, but I'm just saying how long the clip is. Okay? That's the thing. If you know the timestamp, please let me know. Tag me on X, and I will get to it. Anyway, that's the clip, Lance. We got that there. Anyway, let's move on. We're getting into Tucker Carlson territory. We're getting into Tucker country, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we are in Tucker country right now. Consider this a log cabin with 5 dogs running around it in Maine. And in the faint distance, you can just hear a man gleefully. Nothing better than when he laughed in anger when he was talking to that reporter. Oh my gosh. That's what he does. Tucker's a father. That's what he does with his kids. Kids are saying something. Dad, I just didn't, and I just didn't. Dad, stop it. Stop angry laughing like that. Go to your room. Anyway, let's get into it. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on. I don't know if there's any more statements that have been released in regards to Iran and whatnot, but I do have this one that is the most recent that I am aware of right now. Here you go. From the president: all ships, aircraft, military personnel with additional ammunition, weaponry, and anything else that is appropriate to and necessary for the lethal prosecution and destruction of a already subsequently degraded enemy will remain in place in and around Iran until such time as the real agreement is reached, fully complied with. If for any reason it is not, which is highly unlikely, then the shooting starts. Listen, I might not like what this guy's saying, but it's hilarious. It's crazy hilarious. I mean, just, you couldn't write it. If you brought this into a Hollywood studio and you were like, and then the president just says, and the shooting starts, and then that's before he's talking about destroying a whole civilization, they'd be like, get out of here with this, man. This can't be real. What are you doing? We got to make it a little real. Presidents don't talk like this. This is wild. Bigger, and this is when the shooting starts, bigger and better and stronger than anyone has ever seen before. It was agreed a long time ago, and despite all of the fake rhetoric to the contrary, no nuclear weapons, and the Straits of Hormuz will be open and safe. In the meantime, in between time, our great military is loading up and resting, looking forward actually to its next conquest. America is back. I mean, you know, it's a terrible, terrible thing he's talking about. But I mean, a little bit, you're kind of like, yeah, damn right it is. Damn right it is. Let's go. Back, baby. You know, but Tucker is not. Tucker's pissed. Tucker doesn't like what's going on whatsoever. Comes back with another monologue. I'm showing you just a couple of highlights that I am looking at here. Do I have those right? No, I had 18 minutes and 44 minutes. Okay, let me just make sure that I'm on the right timestamp here. Just want to make sure that you guys hear exactly what he is putting forward. Let me make sure I do it on this one as well. Tucker Carlson, ladies and gentlemen, seemingly has had enough. I don't know where this puts him politically. I think it still makes him a conservative. I think he's just willing to push on his own side when he sees them doing wrong. And you know something? Back in the day, that was something that people respected about the now president, is that he was able to point at Republicans and say, this is the garbage that you guys do. And then he was able to point at the Democrats and say that as well. Now it's up to Tucker to do it, I guess. Anyway, let's get into this whole thing. Tucker Carlson, ladies and gentlemen.
Its client state, it's effectively its employee, Israel, under control. Why is that the one thing that's never on the table? That's the question. It's the question that Joe Kent, one of the top U.S. intel officials, asked when he resigned a few weeks ago. We got into this war at the urging of another country, Israel. The war did not go well. Now we can't get out of the war because of the behavior of that same country, Israel. Why? Why can't this president or any president say no to Israel? And we have a right to know why. It's not just because we love Israel and it's the only democracy in the Middle East. And if it is, then our leaders are dumber than we thought they were, but it's probably not that. Because they understand perfectly well how bad this is for the U.S. And there are, believe it or not, a lot of people in the White House who care about the United States. People with power in the White House. They're not all whatever you think they are, zombies doing Bibi's bidding. Some of them can see very clearly where this is heading. It's heading toward a nuclear strike by Israel on Iran. That's obvious. And that would be a world historic disaster. It's also clearly terrible for the American economy, for the American people, not even to mention the Americans who will die in numbers if this becomes a land war. So there are people working really hard, really late, trying to fix this, to get a peace, even one that diminishes us, where we have to take some lumps. They are doing that. That's the only reason we got to where we were yesterday. It's because people in the White House, taking no credit for it whatsoever, were working to end this because it's bad. But those people predictably were undercut. Our country was undercut by Israel. And there's apparently nothing we can do about it. So again, why is that? And once this is over, even before it ends, every American has a right to know, why does this tiny country have so much control over our government? Is it consent? It doesn't look like it. Now, Joe Kent said point blank when he resigned. And by the way, the day he resigned, he retained highest level security clearance. They tried to tell you, oh, he was a leaker. He was under investigation. It was a lie. They admitted it was a lie. He wasn't under investigation by the FBI. Untrue. And you know it's untrue because he held his security clearance till the day he left the building. So there's no intelligence in the U.S. government that Joe Kent couldn't see. None. He was one of the most informed people in the world. And his conclusion was, there's something weird going on here. And one of the clues is the Butler shooting, the shooting in the summer of 2024 during the presidential election, where President Trump shot in the ear by a gunman a little over 100 yards away on the roof of a building called Thomas Crook's. And according to Joe Kent, who would know, that investigation was closed before it pursued every possible lead. We can be fairly confident that Thomas Crook's pulled the trigger. We cannot be confident at all that he acted alone. And of course, we can't know because that investigation was shut down. That's what he said. And Joe Kent, who you can dismiss as a wacko or a traitor, but you can't say he doesn't know what he's talking about. And you can't say the Trump administration didn't trust him with all available U.S. intelligence until the day he left. You can't say that because they did. He has said out loud he thinks the failure to investigate the Butler shooting, the shooting of our now President Donald Trump, and why wouldn't they investigate that, by the way? That alone is baffling. Why wouldn't they release all the information they have about Thomas Crooks? They haven't. Why? If it was a lone gunman, why didn't tell us all you know? But they haven't. Why? He believes that is connected to the control that Israel has over the United States government, the demonstrable control. He said that. He also pointed to a couple of pretty shocking violations of the president's personal security by the Secret.
That's crazy. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was shut down that way. It seemed like it was shut down, but it almost seemed like it was shut down by the president himself because he just stopped talking about it. He was like, while he was running, he was like, I'd like to know about it. We'd like to get into that more. Then he got in office and he never mentioned it again. That's it. And the interviews around him are all very controlled. So it's not a coincidence that anyone who's interviewed him or been in the room with him hasn't asked the question as well. It's probably off limits. Very weird. Very, very weird. I thought it was just him. And he was just like, I don't really want to see. I don't want to see how the sausage is made. I don't care. That's it. Don't really want to see. Some things you kind of don't want to know. Do you want to know everybody around you can't trust, or do you want to just be president and just have a good time, set up some legacy? You think you want to know, but it's like, because then what do you do? And what can you do? What are you allowed to do? And will it actually fix anything, or will it just start something else? The next thing they're like, hey, we want you to speak at Butler. Will you do that again, sir? Same spot. Don't worry. We'll watch all the slopey roofs. He's like, I really don't like what's happening. Don't worry, your Secret Service is here. It's that same lady that was fumbling around. She's this tall. I really don't like what's happening. Where are all the big men? Why are all the big men gone? I don't understand. I had big men for my Secret Service. What's going on? Now I have small ladies. I mean, no problem with the ladies. But where are all the men? 6 foot plus? Oh, they'll be right back. Don't even worry about it. Maybe that's the whole thing. I don't know. But interesting. I'll play a couple more seconds.
Secret Service, they allowed things to happen that never happen around a president. Now, maybe they were mistakes. You want to think they were. But who's been fired at the Secret Service over those mistakes? No one that we're aware of. There's not been a wholesale reordering of the Secret Service. Their job is to protect the president, the elected president of the United States. And you do that not just because you love the president, but because our entire system hangs on the idea that the people get to choose their president and he can't be removed by force. That's democracy. If you could just take out the president by force, then how is democracy real? If people choose someone that larger forces don't like and they kill him, then you don't have a democracy. So protecting the life of the president is essential to the functioning of our system. And yet, on at least 2 occasions, they've proven that they haven't been able to do that. And yet, has there been an investigation into that? Has anyone been fired over that? No. Now, those of us who don't work there have no real idea what that means. But someone who just worked there until the other day, Joe Kent, said, I think that may be related to our inability to say no to Israel. Now, maybe Joe Kent's a total wacko, in which case, why was he head of the counterterrorism center for the Trump administration? That's another question. But let's just say he's a total wacko. But what's the answer? I mean, the facts, the known facts, have never been explained. And at this
Interesting. Very interesting. I'm going to jump over to the next clip of him talking about this whole thing. Tucker Carlson, ladies and gentlemen, going hard. And again, you will not believe the person who is on the same page as him, which makes me think something weird is about to happen or is currently in play. Very, very weird. But let's play this clip first and we'll jump over to that. In my opinion, very unlikely ally. He's not mentioning Tucker, but he is definitely on the same page as Tucker with this whole thing that he's talking about right now.
But it is a multi-ethnic country with religious minorities. And countries like that are ripe for internal division. So the point of the exercise is not to get weapons in the hands of freedom fighters. Who's who would those be? How do we identify an Iranian freedom fighter? No, the point is to stoke an endless civil war, which once ignited are famously hard to end. That's the point. How does that serve our interests? Well, of course it doesn't. Israel, which seems to have an interest in destroying Europe, certainly a desire to destroy Europe. The Prime Minister said it himself. Rome is our real enemy. Still angry about 70 AD, 2,000 years later. His words, not mine. So clearly Israel wants to harm Europe. They've said so. They've helped do it. That would definitely harm Europe and the West. How does it help the United States? Well, not at all. But here you have two prominent analysts on Fox News telling you that for the sake of the Iranian, we need to do this. Really? The same people who are being bombed, whose infrastructure, civilian infrastructure, is being destroyed? The same people who will starve to death if this keeps up? We're really doing this for them? How is starving me to death in my interest? Are you really trying to help me? No, of course not. How much better it would be, how much more Christian would it be just to say what you're trying to do out loud, to tell the truth for once, and then the rest of us could assess it. We could argue against it on good faith terms. We could probably even accept it, even if we disagreed with it, if we knew what it was. But you never know what it is. With liars, with people who are committed to saying whatever it takes to get their goal achieved without explaining what the goal is. So that mode of communication, of operation, that whole worldview is totally corrosive to our country. It is totally immoral. Lying is bad. And because lying is now the currency of government, thanks to people like the people you just saw on the screen, some of us have lost track of this. So you can't accept anything the government says at face value. You have to parse every statement. Well, maybe this means that, or it's a bank shot intended to achieve this. You have no clue. That is so bad for your society. Living in a hall of mirrors gives you vertigo after a while. Those kind of people should have no role in any decision the U.S. government makes going forward, period. And if they support arming the freedom fighters of Iran, let them do it themselves. If they support overthrowing the regime, let them fly there themselves and attempt to do that, if it's that important. But for not one more day should people like that have access to the levers of power in this country, and they should absolutely not be allowed to write our legislation. This country needs to free itself from the influence of a foreign power and restore freedom to its own citizens. The freedom to criticize a foreign country, to boycott it if they so choose, to speak their conscience without the fear of being arrested or accused of a thought crime. People like that have made this country increasingly authoritarian, where people who are born here no longer feel free to say what they really think. The last election was supposed to end that. Instead, it accelerated it. How did that happen? It's not even clear, but it did happen. And so the first thing we need to fix when this is all over is the system that produced this disaster in the first place. Not just a change of presidents. That won't be enough. We've just proven it's not enough. You need to change the system that acts on not just this president, but every president to produce results that are terrible for the United States. That's the first thing we need to do. The second thing we need to do is figure out how exactly Iran was able to do this. How did that happen? It'd be fun to go back and look at the tape from cable news in the months preceding this war and just clip the portions where they describe what Iran is like. All experts on Iran, not a Farsi speaker among them, but know a lot about Iran. This is before anyone had heard of Karg Island. Didn't know the population of the, knew nothing about the country, except that it was a primitive country. And so when the president said we're going to bomb them back to the Stone Age, most Americans must have thought, well, I thought they were already in the Stone Age. Well, who knows what age they were in, Stone Age or medieval? Who knows what their caliphate was really like? It turns out that their military power and their economic power, we vastly underrated. Vastly. They've done, and this is noted with real sadness, much better than anyone expected, including the Israelis, apparently. No one saw this coming. So how did this happen? How did this primitive country that shoots protesters in the street and beats up women because they're women or whatever they were telling you on TV, how did that country chase away U.S. aircraft carriers that aren't anywhere near the coast? How did that country shoot down some of our most advanced aircraft? Warthog, Blackhawks, etc. How'd they do that?
Man, this guy is asking some questions right now. He's almost done the monologue too, because then he switches over to the interview. But when I hear this, if there's not, because apparently there's going to be peace in the Middle East in like the next 48 hours, right? That's what I've been told. I don't know about you. But if there's not, and this guy runs, this guy right here, this Tucker character, 2028, 2032. Good slogan in my opinion. If he runs, he's the guy that brings peace to the Middle East. Because it seems like, because imagine a guy like this running for president. The things that he's saying, the things that he's questioning. He's even getting to a point now where he is framing things like this is like a little bit of foreign policy he's talking about as he's talking, as he's saying what he thinks and how things should work. It's a little bit of foreign policy. He might be the one to actually achieve peace in the Middle East. I know that sounds wild. But the president now tells people you're fired, and it's from a TV show that he was on before. So don't think people are just like, he won't run. He might. You just never know. You have no idea. You'll never be able to tell until it happens or it doesn't happen. And then also, you don't know because you don't know when he'll do it. Might do it in 2036. You have no idea. You just have no clue. You can't possibly know. Tell somebody that Tucker would be talking like this 15 years ago. Tell someone that. And they'd be like, you're out of your mind. What are you talking about? Things change. Things change and people rise up and they realize that they have to do things or they realize that they don't want to do things, et cetera, et cetera. Happens all the time. All the time. Did someone get me that Lionel clip? I think somebody did. Thank you so much. We'll check that out in a second. But, yeah, you just have no idea. But if he did, and he's talking like this, he could actually achieve peace in the Middle East. Might be at his own detriment, or maybe he realizes that's just a place that needs to be left alone. Just remove yourself completely. Maybe he just realizes that, but who knows? But I'm telling you, people have you guys in the comments have no idea what you're talking about. He's just not dumb enough to do that. That's a new character. You don't get actually, because actually is a genius. That's Dr. E. Philadelphia. You get Tucker's not dumb enough. That's what you get. That's the new character. Please name that character for me in the comments here. You get that character because you have no idea. You just have no idea. You're watching a live stream and you're just commenting. You have no clue what could possibly happen. You don't know how it'll change. You don't know how he'll change. You have no idea what he'll end up thinking. You have no idea who will be behind him saying, hey, this really needs to happen. You have no clue. You have no idea. Anything could happen. All I'm saying is he talking like this could bring peace to the Middle East very easily, because it seems like he's willing to actually do the thing that needs to be done and ask the question that needs to be asked and actually push for that type of thing. Massey Carlson. Possibility. That is a possibility. That is on the table. You can't say it's not just because you like Tucker and you don't like politicians. That's not how this works. It's not how the world works. That the people you like don't do the things that you don't like. That's not how this works. People who say things like, I was born in America, I'm going to die in America, I'm an American, my children are American, and they're old enough, and there's nothing you can do to me. I don't fear anything happening to me. Do your worst. People who say that, Tucker, sometimes they decide to do the thing, and they say, well, let's see what happens. It's just the way it is. You can't tell me it's not. Look at the president now. Like, what are we talking about here? Look at the president now. Tucker would never do that. I could never see someone who's in the media space running for president. I just don't see that type of thing happening. That's never happened before. Anyway, Kent Carlson. Ooh, you never know, man. You just never know. It'd be wild. You know? That's what I keep saying. Tucker's very political. Again, people really don't realize. They don't watch things properly. I watch things differently than most people do. When I see this guy go to Hungary and he's meeting with the head of the political, the head of politics there, the president. I think they have a president. I'm not sure if it's prime minister or president. And you see him meeting with that person and they're having relations. I shouldn't say having relations. That's pretty crazy. They're having conversation. And the president brings his son and says, my son wanted to meet you for the longest time. He watches you all the time. He knows everything that you've done in books and blah, blah, blah. And then he goes to the Middle East and does the same thing and gets treated the same way. And then he goes to other parts of the world. And then he goes to Russia. People don't realize what's happening. When you see Gavin Newsom do stuff like that, you understand like, oh man, this joke might actually run. When you see Tucker Carlson doing it, you're just like, I don't know what's happening. Tucker's just having a good time. I don't know. I think these things get positioned for a long time. I think people think about them for a long time. And to act like no one's ever approached Tucker seriously to run, you are out of your mind completely. Out of your mind 100%. If you think no one has ever looked at Tucker and said, would you consider running for president? You're nuts. They did it to The Rock. They've probably done it to Will Smith. They've probably done it to Gavin. Ugh. And you think no one's ever done it to Tucker? You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. You're not viewing things properly. Anyway, again, we're going down a little bit of a rabbit hole here. Let's move on here. Let's keep going. So, we're talking about these 15 points, 10 points. Apparently, the 10 points that I read to you guys yesterday, those were complete garbage, and they were never taken seriously in the first place. I didn't know that. So now there's another 15, and what I'm talking about is between America and Iran. Iran apparently said, here are the 10 points that we are willing to go by, and apparently the president threw that out or something like that. Here, listen.
Already. So let me be clear and correct the record. The Iranians originally put forward a 10-point plan that was fundamentally unserious, unacceptable, and completely discarded. It was literally thrown in the garbage by President Trump and his negotiating team. Many outlets in this room have falsely reported on that plan as being acceptable to the United States, and that is false. With the president's deadline fast approaching and the United States military completely decimating Iran with each passing hour, the regime acknowledged reality to the negotiating team. They put forward a more reasonable and entirely different and condensed plan to the president and his team. President Trump and the team determined the new modified plan was a workable basis on which to negotiate and to align it with our own 15-point proposal. The president's red lines, namely the end of Iranian enrichment in Iran, have not changed. And the idea that President Trump would ever accept an Iranian wish list as a deal is completely absurd.
All right. It was called a wish list. It's just what they wanted to do to negotiate, but call it what you will. And he threw it in the garbage, literally. You know that's not an understatement. She's not just saying that. She's not misspeaking at all. 100%. He was like, what is this? Print that out right now. Print it out. Print it out, I said. They're like, here it is, Mr. President. You asked for the printout. I did. Is this it? This is it? This is it. Okay. Put it in the garbage. Tell him I did that. Caroline, are you in the room? Tell him I did that. I threw it in the garbage. Make sure you say those words. 100%. He did that for sure. I mean, yeah. No question. No question whatsoever. So that was complete garbage. Then on another front, apparently, this is weird, but Bibi rejects President Trump's ceasefire and says the war will continue against Iran at any time he chooses. Bibi says also he will achieve his objectives through further military action under his command. This is a real thing. I don't know if this is translated or if this person translated all of that already.
This is the bottom line of this campaign up until now. Let me say, there are still additional objectives for us to achieve, and we will achieve them either by agreement or by resumption of the fighting. We are ready to resume the fighting at any moment. Our finger is on the trigger. As you know, 2-week ceasefire has been announced between the U.S. and Iran. No, we were not surprised in the last moment, and I want to emphasize, this is not the end of the war. This is a step in order to achieve all the objectives, and Israel is strong.
Wow. That's wild. Interesting. So he's ready to go. That's basically, if you need me to translate it even further than that, he's ready to go. He's not playing around. He's ready, set. He's like, you're just giving me 2 weeks to stretch, do a little mobility, you know, maybe come back to life. You're just giving me some time, and then we're gonna get going again. The point of the point of the ceasefire is to hopefully extend the ceasefire. But like I was saying, and like people or community noted for, this whole ceasefire doesn't actually involve them. So what he's saying may sound terrible, but I guess he's kind of entitled to that. I guess he is acknowledging the ceasefire, but also I don't know if that video was before or after, because they got hit with missiles directly after. So I think they're just ready to go. I mean that both sides. Both sides. Don't paint Iran as like some kind of angelic place of politicians or whatever they consider themselves. You know, sultans. What are they? Supreme leaders? Whatever. So, I don't know. Now, here is the unlikely ally, Tucker Carlson. Some of you already guessed this as I was talking about this person. Check out what Benny has to say about this whole thing.
Our greatest ally? Yeah, I don't think so. Honestly, it's about time to hear this story reported. Much has been made about Israel and their effects on President Trump and how we got into the war with Iran. But now it has been officially told from the inside by the New York Times, the two stenographers and stalkers of President Trump at the New York Times, directly from the White House, Bibi Netanyahu's lies to the president that were called bullshit by his own cabinet, that were called farcical by the CIA. And nonetheless, the Israeli government went to the White House and lied to Trump again and again. Trump decided to act on Iran anyway, and this story proves exactly why. You can agree or disagree, but it's the way that it happened, all the way down to the detail of where people were sitting in the room when Bibi Netanyahu gave his bullshit presentation. And I just want to start by saying, you know, if your buddy continually lied to you and it was to your detriment and got you into boondoggles that cost you a lot and had very little upside, you know, would they be your greatest ally? And this is something that we need to start asking questions about, like, what is the world order? You know, these are questions that are being asked of NATO. You know, what have you done for me lately? Is like El Salvador a better ally to the United States than England or France? You know, Spain wouldn't even let us fly over their country in order to deliver aid to Americans who were trapped behind enemy lines. Are they a great ally? No. And so in a world that's constantly changing, and right now changing dramatically and drastically, you need to be locked in with people who, at the very least, give you good information. And that's not what happened with Bibi Netanyahu, according to this New York Times article. Again, so detailed, in fact, that they talk about exactly where people sat in the room. So presumably, this is information that's being given directly from the White House to the New York Times in order to detail what happened. So what happened is that Bibi Netanyahu went to go brief President Trump.
I just got to say, this is crazy that he's saying any of this. And right away, you know, I'll listen to more of it, but right away, you know, somebody down here says, wow, Benny is waking up. I don't know. I know he falls in line with the listen, couldn't say for sure. My opinion, I feel like he's close enough with the admin, and he is so dripping in GOP, right? People get dipped in baby oil. Benny gets dipped in GOP. I mean, he just gets dipped in the GOP, right? He just gets dipped in there, in the GOP, right? That I feel like they could contact him and say, hey, this is the way we're going now. Maybe not give him a full script, but say, hey, listen, this is the little temperature check, just so you know, this is where we're at right now. And this is kind of what we need people to be saying. We're not going to tell you directly to say it, but this is what we need of people right now who are on our side to say. It may be because something is in the works. I really do think that. Again, I've said it 100 times when it comes to Benny. I mean, the guy looks exactly like a Smith agent. If I was making a Matrix movie, I would make him the Smith agent 100%. What? There'd be a scene where he would crawl out of someone's TV and arrest them because they said the wrong thing. I mean, just what are we talking about here, right? I think they could kind of tell him what to say. And maybe they are. Because in this video, what he's trying to do, right? And I'll say it's 6 minutes. I'm not going to play the whole 6 minutes, Benny Johnson. I like Benny, but I'm not going to play the whole thing. What he's trying to do is kind of get the president off the hook and kind of point the blame at that little place in the Middle East. That's kind of what he's trying to do here, you know? But also, he's reading an article, right? I find it so interesting that he's saying this. And it doesn't make me think he's waking up. It makes me think, what is happening right now? What are they about to do? And why are they hiring Mockingbird #1 to tell us all this? Because I have another episode loaded up. I don't know if I'll do it in members. I don't know if I'll do it on the weekend. But this guy is now the guy for the UFO disclosure. Like, all the UFO people are coming to Benny Johnson. They're telling him all sorts of things. And he's like, what the F? What's going on here? So I know that they use him from time to time. So why wouldn't this be another one of those times? Anyway, let's keep going.
And his cabinet, a highly classified presentation in the Situation Room about bombing Iran. Behind the screens was Mossad's intelligence chief, and they gave a giant presentation about how easy it would be in order to topple the regime. They were wrong, by the way. Susie Wiles, White House Chief of Staff, Secretary Marco Rubio was there. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Brazen Kane, Dan Kane, Joint Chiefs of Staff were there together. John Ratcliffe from the CIA were there too. Jared Kushner and Steve Witkoff, Trump's sort of special envoy to negotiate these things all around the world. Anyway, J.D. Vance was noticeably not there because he was in Azerbaijan. Makes you wonder, honestly, at the time. The presentation that Netanyahu would give over the next hour would be pivotal in setting the United States and Israel on a path towards major armed conflict in the Middle East, one of the most volatile regions. And it would lead to a series of discussions inside the White House in the following days and weeks, detailing details of which have not been previously reported, in which Mr. Trump weighed his options and the risks before going ahead and attacking Iran with Israel. This is the account of how Trump took the United States to war, and I guess it kind of starts with the lies of Benjamin Netanyahu. So here we go. In the Situation Room, Netanyahu made a hard sell, suggesting that Iran was ripe for regime change. We've heard this before, expressing the belief that the U.S.-Israel mission could finally bring an end to the Islamic Republic. At one point, the Israelis played for Mr. Trump a brief video that included a montage of new leaders that could take over the country if the hardline government fell, including those was Reza Pahlavi, or whatever, however the hell you pronounce it, this goofball who lives in Bethesda, Maryland. It's so stupid. That's how dumb. As soon as I was reading this, I was like, that's how stupid this all is. That's how dumb it all is. It's like such a joke. Anyway, Mr. Netanyahu and his team outlined the conditions for a near certain victory. Of course, that's how it always plays on paper. Iran's ballistic missile program could be destroyed in a few weeks. The regime would be so weakened that it couldn't choke off the Strait of Hormuz, and the likelihood that Iran would land a blow against U.S. interests in the neighboring countries was minimal. Mossad's intelligence indicated that the street protests inside of Iran would begin, and the impetus for Israeli spy agency helping foment the riots and rebellion. Intense bombing campaign would foster the conditions for opposition to overthrow the regime. The Israelis also said the Iranian Kurd fighters could cross into the border, opening up a ground front for the regime's collapse on his way. Prime Minister, of course, was constantly at the White House, constantly demanding that Donald Trump go to war against Iran. And then what happened? Well, Trump went to his team and said, "Is this true?" And they said, "No." This entire presentation was a lie, or at least the majority of it. So here's what happened. This is a very, very interesting part of the article. The U.S. officials, so the CIA director and the State Department and the Pentagon got to work, and all the experts on our side went through Netanyahu's presentation. And these are the people who know Iran, know every single one of their leaders, know all of their capacities, knows every single underground tunnel. These are like the really, really intelligent people on Iran. And they got back to the president talking about what could actually happen and what won't happen. Intelligence officials that have deep expertise in U.S. military capabilities and know the Iranian system and its players inside and out broke down Netanyahu's presentation into 4 parts. The decapitation, killing of the Ayatollah, the crippling of Iran's capacity to project power and threaten its neighbors, popular uprising inside of Iran, and regime change. These are the 4 parts, okay, with a secular leader to govern the country.
Interesting. So they all said it was like completely fugazi. He's been saying it for like 20 years, though. Why didn't anybody ever step in and say it was all fugazi? And like, why every step of the way have the presidents or, Congress, politicians, why have they all listened every single time? And why is it changing now? See, that's why I'm so suspicious. Why is it all changing now? You've listened to him for so long. All of a sudden now you're not listening to him? Why? Because he cares so much about the people in Iran? Like, I don't know about all that. That doesn't, that doesn't check out for me. Who knows? Maybe Benny is waking up. You know what? I feel like, let me just look at the comments. I felt like I was doing a Baron thing where the video was playing. You know why? Because I have it on 2 sides and I was looking at this side and I wasn't looking there. But it was playing, right? The video, you saw the video, right? I pray I wasn't doing that. If I was doing that, I mean, it's only because I'm just days from being 40. I mean, I'm just so close to being 40. It's taken a toll on me, Anyway, so yeah, I don't know if I'm buying it. If I'm buying it, man. Yeah. Anyway, let's keep going here. Just on top of that, I guess, weird thing I'm just gonna include in this whole thing is that the admin summoned a Vatican diplomat to the Pentagon, and during this tense meeting, the official invoked I don't even know what this is. Aviganon Papsi. On July 4th, the American Pope will be in Lampedusa. He didn't pick that date by mistake. So apparently there was someone who kind of threatened a Vatican diplomat. A meeting between Cardinal Christopher Perry and Pentagon was described as a bitter lecture during which the U.S. official invoked the Aviganon Papsi, a 14th century period when the French crown used military power to influence the papacy. Is that what that is? Papacy? Whatever. As a implicit warning to the church. Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy if that's true. I feel like that's the last thing you want to do. I feel like that's the last thing you want to do. These guys used to have quite the armies under their belt. I don't know if you guys, I don't think anybody's old enough to remember, but I'm sure you've read. They used to have quite a bit of army at their disposal. And they kind of still do. You know what I mean? Like when this guy comes out, people fall on the ground like Michael Jackson just arrived at a concert. They're falling out. They're falling on the ground. If he touches something, they put it under glass. I mean, I'm just saying. I feel like he's not the guy you want to play around with. The Vatican's like it's like a sleeping giant. Like it'll do something. I think it could. I think it could get a lot of people, a lot of Catholics to do whatever he said. I'm just saying, I don't know that to be true, but I feel like they could kind of get that done. Plus you have no idea what they really have. You don't know what's under. Do you know they have an underground that spans 3 football fields, but it's not just one long thing. It goes lower and lower and lower. You know that? That's just like one set of massive tunnels they have. Then they have the archives, the Vatican archives, that are just as crazy, like these weird catacombs and whatnot. They probably have a lot of things we don't know about. So I would refrain from threatening the Vatican, you know? I'm just saying. Anyway, JD Vance hears about this. This is how JD Vance looks when he hears about it. He's like, you gotta be effing kidding me right now. Are you serious? As somebody tells him about it. But apparently he's gonna investigate. I just wanted to include this at the end of this whole thing, Iran war thing.
Okay, X has been abuzz the last couple of days with the Free Press story saying that senior Pentagon officials in January, including Rich Colby, brought Cardinal Pierre into the Pentagon.
Brought who?
Cardinal Christophe Pierre into the Pentagon.
I haven't seen the story, unfortunately.
And essentially the reporting by the Free Press is that they told him that the American military has a lot of might and they can do whatever they want and the church should get on its side. Does that message sound correct to you? Is that something you would sign off on?
So one, I with no disrespect to the Cardinal, I don't know who Cardinal Christophe Pierre is.
He's the ambassador to the Holy See and the U.S.
Oh, okay. I do. I've met him before. Sorry, I just didn't remember the name. I've never seen this reporting. I'd like to actually talk to Cardinal Christophe Pierre and, frankly, to our people to figure out what actually happened. I think it's always a bad idea to offer an opinion on stories that are unconfirmed and uncorroborated, so I'm not going to do that.
Okay, X has been abuzz.
Well, it has been confirmed by the other side. It just hasn't been confirmed by the American side as to who actually did it, you know? The Vatican side is like, hey, you kind of threatened us. And they're like, I don't know about that. You sure about that? Yeah, it was like before you said you were going to destroy a whole civilization. I don't even know if I remember that part. You sure about that? Yeah, it was right before BB showed up, and the next thing you know, you guys were... You don't remember all that? Not really sure about all that. They're kind of sure. They're getting real specific with what actually went down. Listen, you don't just throw this term out. Listen, a guy on X doesn't just throw this term out. I can't even pronounce it. A guy on X doesn't just throw this term out. You know what the U.S. did, right? They did Avagon Papacy. They threatened Avagani Papacy. Okay, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Look it up. Yes, they did. Guys on X don't throw that out. They don't say stuff like that. That's what someone from the Vatican says. Anyway, that's the clip, Lance. I think we're done there, but there should be 2 clips within there. We're at 2 hours already. Jeez, I gotta go through some stuff here. We still gotta go to Tyler Boyer. Now, I mean, I'll just touch on this quickly. You know, people are saying breaking. U.S. to investigate American influencers receiving foreign funding. Who you think will be exposed? I mean, this is all a buzz. Candace actually said, can confirm it will not be me. Sorry to disappoint you. Alexis Wilkins. Who is this? Is that the country music sensation? How dare Candace talk like that to a country music sensation? What's the matter with Candace? Show some respect, lady. Anyway, so Candace is saying it's not going to be me. Right? Obviously, everybody's saying Officer Tatum, the regular people, the Graham Allens, Gary, this, that. But if you notice, they're talking about taking foreign money. I don't know who's going to wind up with foreign money. They're not going to look into the people who are taking American money. Because that's the thing, right? So if somebody was getting money, I'm not saying they are. I'm not saying anybody is. But someone who's getting money from the admin, they wouldn't be in this investigation, right? And that's kind of what we're thinking of a lot of times when we're talking about people who are getting funding. So anyway, I don't know what that's going to turn into. Just a brief thing. I've been seeing it all over X, buzzing around. I don't think there's really going to be I think there could be an investigation. I think they do want to find people like that or just accuse people of that type of thing. That would be a great thing to accuse Candace of. Hey, you took foreign money. Here, look at this. That would be a good thing to discredit all the people who are pushing against the narratives and the official stories and whatnot. But I don't think there's going to be like a real press conference. We found these influencers. Maybe there will be. I don't know. But look into the people who are taking money from the admin. I don't know. Let's get into Joe Rogan. Let's drill down on Joe Rogan a little bit. Let's drill down on Joe Rogan just a little bit. To quote Barron there. Here he is, randomly, so randomly, bringing up the Charlie Kirk. He's sitting with Arsenio Hall. Why do you have sunglasses on? He's sitting with Arsenio Hall and just pauses the whole conversation to just make sure he could say this. I find this very weird.
Hey, I got to clear something up. Speaking of this, has nothing to do with you, but I did a podcast last week with Theo Vaughn, and in it, there was like a video on the internet that's accusing me of lying about something, and what I said was that I was in the mountains of Utah when the Charlie Kirk thing was going down. What had actually happened was I was here doing a podcast with Charlie Sheen when the Charlie Kirk thing went down, when he died. We stopped and took a piss break, right? And that's when we found out about it, right? And then when I was in the mountains of Utah, that's when the Jimmy Kimmel thing was happening, when Jimmy Kimmel was getting in trouble, and I was getting all these messages, but I didn't have any service out there, so I had to hook up the Starlink in order to find out what was happening. Yeah. When I did the podcast the other day, it seemed like I was saying that I was in the mountains when Charlie Kirk got shot. I probably was saying that. I was exhausted when I did that.
Okay, why doesn't you know? Why didn't you know? You're taking the time to do this. You planned this. What's going on? Yes, you were saying that. You said two different stories. Doesn't seem like it. That is what it was. I played both clips. I showed both clips of you saying these two stories that didn't make any sense. No one was saying that you're lying, but I was saying one of them had to be a lie, and then he addressed it afterwards. But to bring it up again, it's very, very weird.
That show last week. I did a show on Tuesday night at the club, and I have this thing that I do, unfortunately, where I come home, and it's the only time that I get alone time is when everyone's asleep. And I stayed up way too late. I stayed up super late. Then I had to take my kid to school in the morning, and I was like, I'll just power through. The problem when I do that, when I get no sleep, is my memory is dog shit. Like, I have a really good memory and a terrible memory. It's really good a lot of the times, and then sometimes, especially when I'm tired, it's fucking terrible. It's like, from doing thousands of podcasts, my memory is like a room that's filled with boxes and files, and I don't know where the fuck everything is.
See, as you were talking, the first thing, everything goes to sports for me. Some of our greatest home run hitters, they strike out a lot because they're swinging all the motherfucking time trying to get it to McCovey Cove or something.
Of course.
And I think that's how we are. Well, not we. You especially right now. You're doing this constantly. You're talking to lots of people, saying lots of things. And every now and then, there's going to be a swing and a miss. Let me explain that.
But the real problem was sleepy. The real problem was not getting any sleep. And I'm not going to do that anymore because I keep doing... The thing, I get home at night.
Have you had that problem before, like sleep deprivation, and you get yourself into something?
I've had that problem before. Usually I can fix it with creatine. So creatine is a great supplement when you're tired. It really, there's been studies that show that creatine supplementation, especially like 10 to 20 grams, it actually alleviates all of the problems that happen with sleep deprivation in terms of cognitive function. But I just was doing some blood work. So when I knew that I was going to do my blood work, I didn't take any creatine for a month because because I'd read something about creatine possibly being bad for your kidneys. So I wanted to get a baseline, do it, and then do it again when I supplement. So I had this like strategy. But
me too. I had that same thing happen. I stopped taking creatine altogether because they were like, this is elevated and that's elevated. And I was like, oh, well, I'm dying. Both my kidneys are going to have to come out. And I got very scared. So we're going through the same thing. Maybe it's because we're both bald. Maybe that's why that's happening. Also, could you imagine someone saying all this to you and you don't know what they're talking about? And then you have to start bringing up baseball analogies and saying swing and a miss. And you don't even know what they're talking about. You don't really even know what happened to Charlie Kirk because this is Arsenio Hall. Look at him. High as all get out. He has sunglasses on inside a studio. for 3 hours. I mean, that's a crazy thing. He has no idea what Joe's talking about. Then he said the Jimmy Kimmel thing. He has no idea what happened with Jimmy Kimmel. I am positive of it. He's Arsenio Hall. He's rich. He's just in his own world. This is like his first appearance in the longest time.
But the point is, like,
creatine.
My brain was foggy. And so for the people that like heard that and like, what is wrong with you? That's what I thought when I saw, like, somebody put a video on the line. Why is he lying about this? I'm like, oh, I forgot. It wasn't a lie. It's just my brain sucks when I don't get sleep, and I'm not going to do that anymore.
Anyway, I don't know if he's talking about me. I hope not. The video did quite well, I have to say. Somebody's like, are you schizo implying Joe Rogan had something to do with Charlie Kirk? No, go watch the video. I didn't say that at all. You're a moron. Here, let me just let me get over here. Channel activity here really quick. Can I do this? I hope it updates as the person writes. Yes, I'm talking to you. Calling you a moron. How you doing? How you doing? What's your name? Jason? I'm calling you dumb, Jason. What do you have to say to this? Okay? Obviously, that's not what I'm saying. And if you watch the video, which you'd have to do before you could form an opinion on what's going on right now, you'd have to go look at that video and see if that's what's being said. So no, I did a episode about how he had 2 different clips, 2 different stories on 2 different podcasts, one from 7 months ago, another one from just a week ago today, actually, with Theo Vaughn, where he said himself that he was in Utah when what happened to Charlie happened. Now, he explained that by saying that he confused Charlie Kirk with Jimmy Kimmel. Now, I ask you, what does that sound like? Do I sound like a crazy person when I think someone confusing Charlie Kirk dying and Jimmy Kimmel crying as the same things? Do I sound crazy, or does that kind of make sense? Is that a weird thing, do you think? And now I'm addressing the fact that he's commenting on it again. And let me tell you something about Joe. He doesn't comment on things once and twice and 3 times. He doesn't comment on things at all. Okay? So, just putting that out there, Jason. You've been active on YouTube for 11 years here. Hope you're having fun here. But don't call me names like that, or I'll call you names right back. You understand? Thanks so much, Jason. Anyway, Jason didn't sleep. Is that what happened, Jay? Jay, you didn't get sleep. You didn't get any sleep. You okay, Jay? Jay, go take a power nap, man. Take a power nap. Come back, catch the replay. You'll be all right, Jay. You okay? I like how somebody threw that in. Jay didn't sleep. Jason didn't sleep. Don't worry. Jason needs some creatine. He needs the 10, 20. What did he say? 20 grams? You need the 20. I think that's what you need, buddy. Anyway. Don't be a Joe. Yes. Don't be a Joe. Try not to be a Joe. Right? Have to call that out. I hate when people do weird things like that. No, I didn't say anything like that. I just said, hey, this is weird. This is a very weird thing that he's throwing out there. Yeah. And then to address it again, he's like, he says somebody, he saw someone's video. Now I could understand 10 months ago him seeing one of my videos, right? I could imagine someone bringing those videos to his attention, seeing what he wants to do about me. And they did try to take some kind of action, but I won. But I don't think he saw my video. I hope not. You know, really not looking for recognition like that. I like being here with you guys. That's pretty much it. I don't need all the crazy recognition. It's a bit too much. It's a little too stressful. I already have enough stress in my life. So he says he saw somebody's video. I don't know. I was definitely the first one to make a video about it. So hopefully he didn't take too poorly to it. I wasn't saying that he was lying, but I was just saying out of the 2 stories, one of them has to not be true. And I was right. One of them wasn't true. But then the explanation didn't make any sense. Jason's still wearing masks, you think? Oh, man. Don't say that about Jason. It's all right, Jay. Hope you're all good there, buddy. You know? Oh my gosh. That's fun. I like doing that, you know? Because so many times it's like, is somebody really live? Are they really live? Right? And then all of a sudden you say something and then your name pops up on the screen and the person's talking to you. That has to be a trip. If Jason smokes weed, if Jason was high at that time, that had to be the biggest trip of all time. You know what I mean? Just showing you that we're live here, folks. We're live. Things happen. Things happen. But I thought that was weird from Joe Rogan, quite honestly. I thought it was very, very weird. Very odd, in my opinion, to be addressing something like that. Not really necessary at all. And honestly, I said it before in the videos that I made last weekend. Why not address calling Theo crazy? Why not address everybody talking about how do you find the video of someone talking about you telling the two stories? And you find that and you're like, oh, we got to talk about that. And but you don't address everybody saying, hey man, don't say that about Theo. Hey man, don't call Theo crazy. How do you not pick up on that? You're picking up on the two stories thing that doesn't even really matter. Nobody thinks you killed Charlie Kirk. But you don't pick up on the fact that everybody was upset that you called Theo Von crazy when he was saying what everybody in the world's been thinking. That's a weird thing, yeah? Very odd. Very odd. Someone said, you okay, Jason? Hit the like. Yeah, Jason, hit that like for Oh my gosh. That's so funny. That is so funny. But yeah, like, how do you not pick up on that? Explain that. Like, you know, let everybody know that you didn't mean that. That's really, you know, that's the thing to really comment on. Hey, man, didn't mean to say that about Theo. Actually love Theo. Don't think he's crazy. Think he's on point. That would be the thing to really address. In my opinion. I don't know. I've even had issues with Theo. I told you about the copyright thing that he did. Unjustly. But, you know, he's still great, you know? Still fantastic. Anyway. Hope Joe and Jason are doing okay. Hopefully you guys can talk to each other, you know? Console each other. Can you imagine that Jason account was actually Joe Rogan's burner account? He's pulling a Blake. He's pulling a Bongino, you know? That's his Terry Tinfoil. Anyway, I don't have time to go through everything I wanted to go through, but we definitely have to go through the Tyler Boyer stuff. We definitely have to touch on that. I found all of that so interesting. So this, actually, let's do the he's not gay one first. Where's that? Yeah, so this is the one where somebody just asks him point blank about Candace Owens calling him a sexual deviant. He finally has to address it, and his face while they're asking is like, come on, man, are you guys serious? Like, I gave you my time, and this is what you do? Are you serious? Anyway, let's check it out, ladies and gentlemen. And that's the clip, Lance. That's the end of that one. Joe Rogan there. 2 hours to 2 hours, 13 minutes. And you don't have to get all fancy with it. You could end it right now. Perfect. Anyway, let's keep going.
She made some pretty bold allegations against you, and she has repeated several times that one of the reasons that she, quote unquote, doesn't trust you, I guess, is because she labels you as this sexual deviant. And we'll just play the clip just so people have a context of, this is kind of one of the first like allegations, as far as I've been able to see, that she kind of threw out about you. So Brandon, if you want to roll that.
Also, another person who wrote us was telling me the story about Tyler Boyer's involvement in like Maricopa County politics in general. Like, what did he do before in Arizona? And yeah, it's just the kind of stories, again, that he said he approached him several times about embezzlement. You know, Tyler was hooking up with young interns, young male interns, or young male workers, and he didn't even care. He's like, I would go on record because all this happened, and I had the proof that all this happened, and everybody knows about Tyler Boyer at Turning Point USA. It's like an absurdity. But this is the person that is putting people into places of power at Turning Point USA. Also,
so she presents it as if it's this foregone conclusion, like, oh yeah, everybody just knows this. And then on Twitter, I saw one time that you posted a tweet and she responded to it like, Tyler, you and your wife are swingers. And so I guess the questions that I have is, where do you think that these allegations are coming from? Have people alleged this about you before? And like, is there any truth to any of this at all?
So there is, straight off the bat,
yeah,
Candace has said this numerous times, and this has come from, and I'll kind of explain this hopefully to your audience so people understand it, that I'm gay, that I have some kind of, secret gay life that I live. This isn't unique to me. This is something that's pretty commonly said by the establishment in general, and that attacks political enemies pretty commonly. So just so that you guys are aware, and you wouldn't believe this, but I think the next week, right after that, or a couple weeks later, another individual came out and said that Charlie was gay or secretly gay, that other people were gay. This is like the textbook, just try to, Alinsky somebody's character.
Yeah, here's the thing. He's getting into Saul Alinsky. I love that territory. I love hearing about people talk about that author and that book. But Charlie doesn't have like a weird case around him. Now, I'm not going to say anything has happened. I'll say it's an accusation. It's definitely alleged. But Charlie didn't have any weird alleged accusations around him at all. So when somebody's saying that about Charlie, and I've heard people, and even in the comments here, say stuff like that about Charlie, I don't think that's true at all. Not even remotely. I think people are just kind of pulling that out of thin air. But with Tyler, it's a little different. It's a little different. I'm not saying that there's anybody coming forward saying, hey, XYZ happened, but there's one person at least, because there was some kind of case going on. I don't know about that case. I don't know about the person. I don't know what was alleged happened to them, but it was within the realm of weirdness. And I'm pretty sure it was a guy. Pretty sure. But even if it was a woman, it's still like Charlie didn't have that weirdness around you. You have that around you. You have that adjacent to you. So, kind of understand where it's coming from with you, but don't throw Charlie into the boat with you. Even look at Charlie's face here. Let me get a close up. Even Charlie. First off, the guy, like, what a shill. You have Charlie on both sides of your face. That's your podcast setup, both sides of your face. But look at this. Even Charlie doesn't believe it. Look, he's like, I'm not gay. And Charlie's like, you sure about that? Even Charlie's face is like, you sure about that, big guy? You sure about that? Just right next to him. Tyler, you sure about that? Sure about that? So interesting that he has both these photos. Just like that, that's so intentional. I'm telling you, man, this is what people don't like about these guys. How oddly intentional they are about using Charlie like that. Very, very intentional about it. Super, super intentional. But let's keep going. So he's not gay. He's not a deviant. That's what he said so far.
With absolutely no factual basis whatsoever. And, it's actually pretty damaging what was said here, because obviously that's never happened. I'm not gay. I have 3 kids and, a wife that I've been married to for the entire time. I was married previously. My son is from a previous marriage. And so there's like this speculation, I think, when, when people become obsessed with you, they start asking, you all sorts of questions. People make up rumors. They do really nasty stuff. And like I said, they've done that to many people, including Charlie himself. This happened to pretty frequently. And it's just not based on any kind of fact. If it was anywhere factual, those people would come forward. Trust me, the left wants me gone, wanted Charlie gone, wanted all of the things that we do in politically where we attack the left. So specifically, they would use that against us. And so, it's kind of like ridiculous that, you have these, this person that seems to have an axe to grind, that's angry about something. I really don't totally understand it, other than just trying to take advantage of, people who are in their most vulnerable state following the loss of someone that's closest to them, to go out and attack people. But you had mentioned this, is like there's this whole element that exists. I'll bring up Mikey too. Mikey was accused of being gay. There's videos that are AI that have been put out about Mikey, myself, others in this entire world. I mean, it just...
This guy knows a lot about all the gay stuff circulating these guys. I've seen the Mikey McCoy ones. People have sent those to me as real. It's like Mikey kissing a dude in an elevator, and it's like, it's clearly not real. But I've never seen anything with Tyler like that. I mean, you know, and to act like, you know, it's just the left, they just want to get rid of us so bad. They don't know you. They don't know you. Acting like you think Hassan Piker knows about Tyler Boyer? You think Destiny is like, oh, that Tyler Boyer? Are you kidding me? They don't know you guys. Charlie was everything. Charlie was the whole thing. That's it. That's all. They only knew Charlie. That's all. They have no idea who you are. If you passed away, they would not celebrate the way they celebrated when Charlie passed away. They don't know you. They have no clue who you are. Okay? And the ones on that side that are a little bit Alphabet City, they probably have their gaydar activated around you. I'm kidding. You know, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, let's keep going.
It is so ridiculous that you just can't even really respond to it because it's just such made up garbage and baloney. But I believe there's a real reason why people do these kind of things, and most of it is the idea is that to attack a person's character, which again, if you followed or ever read, I don't know how familiar you guys are with Saul Alinsky, but Saul Alinsky wrote a book called Rules for Radicals, and Alinskyites, they subscribe to this, and a lot of modern leftists subscribe to Alinsky rules, which you essentially utilize to attack and you harness and close in on your enemies so that people will attack them, dismiss them, and in some cases, commit violence against them. And this is probably what terrifies me, my family, and others so much, is that when you do this and engage in this behavior, especially when it's not correct, it really puts you in the crosshairs for a lot. And I believe that that's what happened to Charlie. That's what's happened to so many others within the movement. We've seen a very violent string of attacks from people all the way from Antifa to radicalized individuals who we mentioned. The accusation is some of that had something at play here with Charlie's murder. My biggest fear is that people hear these things, they see these things, it generates obsession over particular names and characters.
Everything he's saying is stuff that has been applied to Candace, now Barron. I've been lucky enough not to have this type of stuff happening. But the exact thing that he's suggesting is happening to Candace. And let me tell you something. As somebody who's also very familiar with Saul Alinsky, I know that one of the rules is to accuse people of what you're guilty of. That is one of the rules. So as he's saying, like, oh man, and violence, and they're attacking us and they're coming after and this and that, that's exactly what they are doing. See, but it's this weird remove thing because it's not exactly him that's making it happen, but it is people who seem like and actually do have connection to him, right? It's been revealed Dan Bongino actually has connections to Turning Point. It's been revealed that who else? Graham Allen has connections to the Defense Department. It's been revealed that Erica's mom has contracts with the Defense Department and also friends within it. It's been revealed that Gary has connections to agencies and bureaus through training. You know what I mean? Like all these things are like these arms are there, but they're not acknowledging any of them. And now he gets to sit back and act like, well, that's just something that leftists do. Like, let me tell you something. If you ever read that book, you tell me if the president doesn't do some of these rules. You tell me if you've ever seen anyone from the GOP do the same stuff. It's actually not just a left thing. Republicans do it as well. It's actually, when you read that book, it's a politics thing. If you read that book and you read all the rules, it's a politics thing that you're seeing more than anything. Anyway, let's keep on going here just a little bit, and then we're going to move on to the next thing.
People who are involved, and it starts to create a characterization online that then animates people enough to want to, say awful things, but then, pick up and maybe do harmful, violent things. Mm-hmm. And so we've seen this just since this has happened. My ask is like for people to stop, because obviously it's completely untrue. And, I have nothing against anyone that's gay, but know lots of people who are gay and things like that. But I'm not. And so it's like we would love for that type of rhetoric to stop, because I think that there's a lot of the people that we've seen online who are extremely animated about this stuff, and have said things to me that are either verging on or violent in nature. And it's really unsettling to know that that's out there, especially based off of just people making these accusations that are completely unsubstantiated or untrue.
Words are violence. It's not something that people on the right say, not someone who's hard-nosed on the right like Tyler would say. Words are violence. They're leading to violence. Interesting. Interesting the way he brings that up. Now, I myself do not think that stuff, it could be happening to Tyler, but again, I feel like he was not the person to be focused on. I feel like they did not care about him like that. I feel like most of the people on the left don't know who he is. Maybe if you're a part of the Un-F America tour, because then you know all the players and you're really tuned in because they follow Turning Point around. Okay. But just regular, a bunch of blue hairs in Portland, bunch of blue and green hairs in Portland with the big spacers and whatnot, they don't know who Tyler is. They have no clue who he is. Stop it. It's ridiculous. This is where he talks about meeting Erica and how that thing happened. Listen to how he explains. This is the most recent explanation of how Erica and Tyler actually know each other. Okay, here we go.
On when Erica says you and her met, and when you say you and her met, I believe she says you met at a 2015 Trump rally, and then there was a discrepancy on when the meeting actually happened. Just if there's a short answer to that, would you mind maybe clearing it up?
It's actually really simple. Is what she said is true, and what I've said is true, is that we had met by phone prior to that 2015 Trump rally. So the background is, and this is important for people to understand, Erica was 2012 Miss Arizona. So she's part of the Miss Universe world, right? So the Miss Universe world, which was owned by Donald Trump, all of those people, and this isn't unique to Arizona, this is everywhere across the country. Those that participated with that were kind of, very friendly and kind of fans of Donald Trump. So when he decided to run for president, and remember, this is June of 2015 that he announces, I think it was. And then almost immediately after that, I get a phone call in Arizona asking if we wanted to host a fairly small anti-illegal immigration event in Arizona. And so they had wanted, this was part of the president's early strategy that when he was then candidate Donald Trump, was to do to talk about illegal immigration as being like kind of a core piece of his thing. And so where else would you go than Arizona? So they call, what I suspect, they start working all their networks with the Miss Universe contestants and pageant winners from the past in Arizona, and many of them, it's not just Erica, but many of them, and I've known a few Miss Arizonas through, there's a lot of people that get involved with the pageant world that end up in politics and things like that. It's not unique to Erica, but she had been contacted.
That's an interesting point. Pageant world and the politic world, very connected. We've been talking about that. Been talking about that quite a bit. Politics connected to pageantry, pageantry connected to an underbelly of grossness. It's very interesting. Not unique to Erica. There's quite a bit. Watch out for these pageant queens, ladies and gentlemen. They are basically political operatives at the drop of a hat.
Contacted, and someone had said, hey, Tyler, who was the chairman of Maricopa County at the time, I was, this young 20-something-year-old chair that was running this whole thing, is in charge. Here's his number, get in touch with him. And so we had gotten in touch about showing up to that. But our first face-to-face meeting ever was at that 2015 rally. And then after that, I had encouraged, I was like, oh, you're awesome. Like, thanks for getting involved. And of course, again, we put the former Miss Arizona on stage behind the president. With all of that. But so two things can kind of be true at the same time, which is I had mentioned that we had spoken before. We had spoken before. We hadn't actually physically met. Our first time, I think, ever meeting was at that 2015 rally when she showed up and she was part of it and everything else. And it was like, wow, that was cool, because that changed the world at the time. When we hosted that event, that became the first Trump rally ever that was ever hosted. And so anyone that was part of that, the cool part about this, which again, calling good things evil and evil things good, people calling this evil, which is kind of bizarre to me. It's like, Erica was literally part of the first Trump rally ever. That's how we met, which ultimately ended up with her meeting Charlie, and Charlie, and again, I've told this story a lot.
As he starts talking, the gay comes out. I'm just saying, maybe not by preference, but definitely by inflection. He gets excited.
Evil things good. People calling this evil, which is kind of bizarre to me. It's like Erica was literally part of the first Trump rally ever. That's how we met, which ultimately ended up with her meeting Charlie. And Charlie, and again, I've told this story a lot of times. I thought she was, way too big of a fish for Charlie to reel in at the time. I was like, because Charlie had not dated that many people. He had, and I was a little bit concerned because she's awesome. Like, she's like through and through. Again, just to speak to her capabilities, she's incredible. She's an incredible human being. We wanted to get her involved on her face side because of that was her whole, that was where her heart was, focusing on the pastor recruitment, the pastor outreach, everything else that we had done at that time. And Charlie met her and was like, oh my gosh, she's beautiful. I want to date her. And I was like, yo, dude, wait, like, don't mess this up. We want to hire her. And fortunately for them both, Charlie was able to close the deal and meet and spend time together and fall in love and, get married and do things the right way. And then after getting married, move in together and have kids. And that's a beautiful story. And so people,
the way he keeps going on and on, it's like, how did you guys meet? But he's just saying what Erica said was true and what I was saying was true. But Erica has a different story than you do. So they can't both be true. But he's just saying we met on the phone first and then we met at the rally. I don't know about all that. I don't know. The story sounds flimsy to me. And then it's like you met on the phone, you met at the rally, you thought she was kind of good. And then, and I don't know when Super Tech, I believe it's called Super Tech, whatever company he and Lori are directors on. And then all of a sudden, somehow, you're close enough with her that her mom and you are going to be directors in a company. I don't know about that. I feel like that takes a little bit more time. I mean, you could even, if I saw Charlie as a director of the company, I'd be like, oh, well, Erica and him were getting close, so this makes sense. Her and Tyler, that just doesn't make any sense. I just don't think there's enough time to make that happen, to make that make sense relationship wise. How many times her mother would know you by that time? To be a director in a company with you, you'd know each other. If not in a personal sense, at least in a business sense. How did that happen so fast? How did you meet her on the phone, then at a rally, and then get close enough to her and her mother that you have how did the business relationship, how did the beginnings of a business relationship even take place? How did that happen? How much were you seeing her? You know what I mean? You're seeing her in just a work perspective. Well, then how did you get connected to her mom? Because if you were just seeing her and because she was a part of this, he said, what did he say, pastor recruitment and whatnot, which is weird in itself. Like, what? Why is she recruiting pastors? What? And on top of that, she already has a company. A lot of stuff going on at the same time, Really weird. Really weird. Doesn't make any sense. So you were seeing her in a work perspective. Well, how did you meet her mom? How did you meet her mom at least 10 times? That's where I'm at with it. You have to meet somebody and hit it off from the very beginning and then meet each other another 10 times before you're like, I will be on the board. I will be a director in this company with this guy where he can take dividends and I can take dividends. That is a serious relationship. I'm just saying, the whole thing doesn't make any sense, Anyway, I got no problem. With Tyler here. I love gay people. I think gay people are great. I really do. I think they're fantastic. The best interview. Let me tell you something. This is gonna get. It's a little. I was producing this podcast one time where we were interviewing all sorts of men, and we had this epiphany. We're like, why don't we get a gay guy on? The gay guys go through things like there's young gay men who probably, would benefit from hearing an interview with an older guy who's like been through the go-throughs that they go through. So I was like, yeah, let's get a guy. My mom had this dude. My mom loves Zumba. So she had this dude that was running the Zumba studio. All sorts of dance and stuff. So we're like, let's get that guy. We get that guy. This guy looks like a mobster, looks like a jacked mobster. And then when you see him, he's just super flamboyant. And he is what's called a power bottom. I didn't know what that was until I met this man. It was crazy just hearing him talk about that. And the one phrase he said that I will never, ever leave, it will never leave my mind. He said, I'm not spending my gas and douching my ass for any small D guy. I was like, wow, that's a lot of information. You do what? He's like, douche. You know what a douche is? I'm like, I do not. I have no idea. Oh my gosh, the things he was telling us. It was the craziest interview I've ever been a part of. It was just wild. It was wild. I like that guy. That guy's cool as all get out. Really cool guy. Still friends with my mom. She doesn't even go to the studio anymore. Friend of the show. Friend of the show, friend of the family. Great guy. I won't say his name. I'm not going to say his name. But he was a funny guy. He left the studio. Me and my buddy were like, he said he douches? I'm like, I still don't understand what that means. We had to look it up. Shouldn't have looked it up. Don't look it up. Anyway, don't look up what that means. Let's keep going here. We got more Tyler Boyer. This one's posted by Project Constitution. Somebody was asking if this is an older interview or a newer interview. This is a newer interview. This just took place, I think, just this week. So let's check this part out. Let's see what he's talking about here. I think this is more of the Erica stuff, right? Am I wrong? So we had the don't call me gay part, and then we had the part where him and Erica, and this is the same thing.
This was part of the president's early strategy.
Okay. So this is just the same clip here. Now, one person said after that, they said, but Erica said she knew nothing about that world. Now she's suddenly more politically locked in with the president than Charlie was. Why did Erica lie then? There's too much around that story. I'm not saying she lied, but this person certainly picked it up pretty quick. Black Beth Dutton picked it up pretty quick. All of a sudden, she's more plugged in than Tyler and Charlie. How is that possible? And again, she did say she knew nothing about that world. But then all of a sudden she did. You know, as you do, I guess. And that's the clip, Lance. Let's keep going here. We're ready. What are we ready at 3 hours? I think we're ready at 3 hours, guys. I was going to go through some other stuff here. We'll go through that stuff tomorrow. Yeah, we'll go through that tomorrow. Oh, you know what? Just really quick. Apparently RFK is starting a podcast. I said someone from the administration is starting a podcast. This is just like a little story here. Apparently he's starting a new podcast. He's not leaving the administration. He's keeping his position, and he's going to be talking about things about like how the government lies to you. This is very, very weird. Does it have music all the way through?
Americans have been told that we should trust the system, but our children are sicker, chronic disease is exploding.
This is crazy. This is nuts. So he's going to be starting a podcast, basically like Joe Rogan's podcast. He's going to be sitting down and interviewing people. I'm flabbergasted by this. Whitney Webb jumped in right away, and she's like, who cares? She's like, you defend glyphosate after campaigning against it as a nefarious poison for years. You claim to defend children's health, but then defended the mass offing, maiming, and going hungry of kids in that place right there. Once you railed against you once railed against mass surveillance and the militarization of healthcare, but now market surveillance wearables as essential American health. He actually did say that in the hearing as he was being confirmed, or when he was fighting to get confirmed, and are still letting military/intel contractors Palantir run all data of the HHS database. So Whitney Webb jumped in there real quick. You have absolutely zero credibility and are a salesman for what you once claimed to hate. We'll see how the podcast does, though. Not everyone's gonna feel like Whitney, right? Some people are gonna love the podcast. I guess. I don't know. You know, we'll see. I'm very interested just to see what he's going to be talking about. Yeah, RFK podcast, longest episode ever. Yeah. It's gonna be very long episodes, I would imagine. No, I think he's gonna do it like real, cookie cutter style. I think it's gonna be like an hour, things like that. But I don't imagine there's gonna be any breakthroughs. He's talking about, he's like, oh, I'm gonna expose government lies. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. What are you talking about? No, you're not, man. You ever seen that meme? No, you're not. Hey. No, you're not. Stop it. You're not stopping any government lies. Come on, man. Don't be like that. Don't make us want that. And then you don't give that to us. Don't do that. Mr. RF, Sir K, fondly known as. Friend of the show, though. Anyway. That's the clip there, Lance. That's a short one, but anyway, let's jump in here. Let's jump in. But yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen with that podcast. I don't. Yeah. I hope it does well. I hope he really does something, but I don't know. Doesn't seem like it. It doesn't seem like he's doing the thing that everybody thought he was gonna do. But he is making some headway. But the whole glyphosate thing, he was arguing with Joe Rogan about like why glyphosate is like good. Or like why they have to keep allowing it. And it was just like, oh man, this is terrible. This is so not him. But everybody gets sucked up by the swamp, man. Eventually they all get sucked up by the swamp. What can you do about it? Just want to make sure I can see the other chat here, but we're going to go through the super chats right now. Ladies and gentlemen, go through these super chats here. Let's jump in. What is going on, guys? Thank you guys so much for all the love. My life is like a fart, too. Oh, thank you. Very, very, very good username. Peachy Keen, welcome to the crew as well. Appreciate you guys. Ash of the Dead sends out a membership. You're appreciated, Ash. The Florida Rican back once again. The Florida Rican. I love that name. That's such a good. I hope you have a channel or like some kind of business behind that name. That's so good. Merch idea. Battle. I'm just gonna say what it means. The Battle Bun Club. That acronym's been taken already. And I don't mean by the broadcasting network. It's already been taken. Just saying, Florida Rican. Big black rooster with a bun. Oh my God, this is terrible imagery, sir. An American flag headband holding an AR-50. Wow. No. I have to say, from top to bottom, from the branding to the idea, this is terrible. While working on the road. Laugh while working on the road. Look forward to this show every day. Thank you so much, man. Terrible ideas, but I'll send them her way if I can, though. Don't worry. Zach Costello owes Baron $33 for the high IQ. Yeah, I don't know what Zach was thinking. Calling it a high IQ outfit, unacceptable, completely unacceptable. No, you're getting too big for your britches there, sir. You got to relax. You don't do that kind of thing. He's trying to steal the high IQ outfit. Zach could have a godly outfit, a Christ outfit. That's what he has. Okay. High faith outfit. That's what Zach gets. Let him know. That's what he gets. I think he'll be happy with that, but you can't take high IQ. Can't take that from Baron, man. You gotta leave that alone. Anyway, let's keep going here. I saw he owes him $33 too. Big Daddy Waller, Kira, friend of the show. Oh, Kira, because I was like, get back to work, Kira. You get back to work. She wanted me to say that yesterday. I didn't know her actual name. Recommend watching Didi Got a Podcast live with Tom Borum on April 2nd. Very interesting conversation. I think you'd enjoy. I think so too. Didi actually announced, he's like, this is my last day. I love Didi's content, but when people are like, this is my last day on this investigation, it's like, you don't need to announce that, man. You don't even need to do that. You could talk about the investigation still and talk about other things. I do it all the time. It's exactly what I do. I do it intentionally on this live stream all the time. I try to talk about other things. You don't have to announce it. I don't know why you did that. It was just like, come on, man. Because you know if something crazy happens, well, you're just going to not talk about it. You know what I mean? Tomorrow, Erica confesses to everything. You're going to be like, well, I'm talking about other things now. It's like, no, man, you're going to talk about that. It's like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to announce things like that. But I think I saw the podcast that you're talking about, and I do like it. I do like it. I do like that conversation. I've seen some clips of it, I'm pretty sure. Thank you to whoever recommended Dr. Heather Lynn's video on Charlie Kirk and the Kabbalah. It is very interesting. There you go. I forget who actually did suggest it, but there you go. Do we know how Prez Orange's wife is doing with her man's transformation? Find it hard to believe she's enjoying his behavior. Nunca, nunca. Like when people end it off with nunca, nunca. Yeah, I know. I doubt she would like it, but I mean, she probably knows the ins and outs, right? She probably understands what's going on. Or maybe she fights him behind the scenes and says, "Hey, you got to stop doing this." Laura, welcome to the crew. Who knows? Who knows what how that's handled in the family? I mean, you're thinking about his wife. Maybe his kids feel like that too. Maybe Barron's like, "Hey, man, hey, you know I was the mastermind that got you elected. What are you doing right now? You're going against everything. Listen, you know, Barron's really in touch with the base. He is the age of the base that they're all looking for. So, I don't know. I'm sure there's discrepancies. They aren't furries. Lance is shown in a onesie that looked like a panda or bear. I don't remember, but that doesn't make you a furry. It's more like PJs. I think you're wrong. I think I know what picture you're talking about, but I feel like it has actually been established that they were doing things like that, or at least Lance was, or something like that. I think you're thinking that it's just linked to the photo. That's not what it is. There's like, that's a thing they were doing before, but we've never seen it. We've definitely never seen them in action either. So don't go looking for that video. But it's not just the pajamas that you're talking about. Normal Mom, best channel on tubes. On the tubes, I look forward to every episode. It's one-stop shop to keep us hilariously updated with all this corruption, with all things corrupted. There you go. Thank you so much. Appreciate you so much, Normal Mom. Normal moms make the world run. Normal men, normal moms make the world run. My life is like a fart. I watch every episode, and I'm excited to finally be a part of the Mint Daddy crew. Thank you for the daily laughs. Thank you so much. We will see you next Tuesday. Don't forget the in and outie belly button in Baron's super chat. I didn't see that. Did somebody talk about an innie outie belly button? I didn't see that. You gotta tell me about that. Lisa P 1969. Welcome to the crew, ma'am. Cohen Film Coach. When we may have to refer to TR as TR number 1, number 2, and number 3. TR himself on campus for a few minutes. TR number 2 on the roof is military and one hands off roof and one hands off roof. TR number 3 on stairs. This is an assembled production with a large cast. Yeah, it's very weird. We may have to start doing that. I don't know. I never thought of that until Baron started bringing it up. I never thought of them being different people. I don't know if that could be verified. If it can, I'm sure they're already working on it or already have that information. But you'd have to verify the times, and that's the thing with those pictures. You think because it's a security cam of sorts that there would be some kind of timestamp on it, but there's nothing. They just show the image, and they never, ever show us the video of him walking up the stairs. Only the images. I think it's very weird. And I think it also has to do with the person that we see coming down the stairs. I think they don't want that person identified. Fleet sends a membership. What's going on, Fleet? How you doing? Friend of the show. Danks admitted to working for the DOD on a live. Well, all right. Okay. Ask him if his cubicle was near Graham Allen's. Ask him if you ever saw Gary there. Ask him some ins and outs. Tell us some stuff, man. You been in there? Been in that belly of the beast? Tell us some stuff, man. Does he ever talk about that? I would love to know that. That's interesting. That's interesting. In what capacity, I tell truth, did he work for the DOD? I wonder. I think that's very weird. Yeah. I know everybody works everywhere, but Coach, please ask Fleet and Lance to do a music video with Baron singing "We Got I'm" by the Onions. Well, they can't use another person's song. They would have to make their own song. Yeah, I don't think they can just do that. Baron singing it. They never saw Baron coming in Project Glass. Yeah, isn't that weird? They never saw him coming. Or maybe they did. Maybe they were like, this is the point. They're pointing like right here, like this right here, this high IQ outfit. This is where things get wonky for us, ladies and gentlemen. Do you understand? Graham, thanks. Are you listening? Are you both listening? Get off your phones. This right here, are you guys listening? This is where it gets really wonky. This guy comes, high IQ outfit. You understand? Is everybody listening? Gary, are you listening? Sorry, I was just moving around the room. I was just checking things out. Matt Walsh, do I have to get Ben in here? Are you listening? Are you listening? Do I have to tell Ben to come in here? No, it's fine. It's okay. I'm just, I'm sorry. I was listening. I was just thinking about, I'm so sorry. Everybody listen up. When this guy comes into the picture, this is a really big problem. Okay. We can't off him because he has 37 kids, you understand? So if we off him, it's just like cutting the head off of a steak. They're all going to start coming for us. We can't do that. So we have to smear him. We have to smear him real bad. That's where you guys come in. You understand? Anyway. Yeah, that's interesting. DOD work. Yeah, that's like that Myron's dude. Myron was like working for Homeland Security. Myron Gaines, like Fresh and Fit. Yeah, he was working for Homeland Security. Like, that's weird. Like, how do you get those jobs? And why do you leave? Against better judgment. Love the show. Thanks for all you do. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Yeah, why do you leave? Why do you leave those jobs? I don't know. I figured you stay there forever. Being a deep state figure probably has its perks. Probably gets to just be a millionaire. What's going on? How large is the budget? Can you make the budget $10 million more? And just put it into the social, the Social Security. Can you just put it in there and just make sure it's there? One of the people that's 150 years old? Yeah, just put 10 million right there. Yeah, we'll get it later. Let it sit for like 6 months. Seems like a pretty sweet gig, honestly. I don't know. Why would you leave? And that's the clip, Lance. You're kind of right. Good timing. Good timing, Heather. Appreciate you. She prefers to go by Rachel, but I call her Heather. Mary W., welcome to the crew. Another Heather has arrived. Another Heather. Heather Rosa, watch Dank's second video from 19 hours ago. What do you mean second video from 19 hours ago? He posted 19 hours ago? Why don't you just say the title of the video? Maybe this is it. Maybe. He's reacting to you, Tyler Robinson, in cust. I assume that means custody. I assume that means custody. 2 hours, 40 minutes. I don't like to watch people reacting to me. I never do. Officer Tatum's beef with Abba and Preach is funny. He has beef with Abba and Preach? Really? That's weird. I guess that makes sense. That's so odd. Abba and Preach are like these manosphere guys. But they're like the ones that are kind of like sane. They're not like, you need a Bugatti. If you don't have a Bugatti, no lady will ever love you for who you are. They're not like those types. They're like, I don't know. It's an odd little manosphere. But seeing them come together would be very weird. Because Abba, I don't know what Abba is. I have no idea. I assume he's black, but I don't think he is. And Preach is like this Haitian dude. Long dreadlocks, which I think he cut recently. Kind of talks with a lisp. I think he's from Montreal. A lot of Haitians in Montreal. They don't play around, Montreal. But anyway, yeah, I bet it is funny. I'll have to look into it. Vintage recreations. I'm thinking BB did Charlie. Maybe Ivana was behind. No, come on. I'm thinking Peter Hegseth, the inside for on CK. Jared, favorite child. Ivanka, intro. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I don't think she had anything to do with it. Ivana, I don't think she had anything to do with anything. I think she's one of those ladies that knows. She seems like one of those ladies that like kind of, especially with Jared, it seems like they kind of know their positions. All right. She like knows her place. He knows his place, you know? Or maybe I'm wrong and she's like running everything behind the scenes. She really wears the pants. I don't know. Hard to tell, but I don't think that's the case. I already said what I thought was the case. Was plane flying over to get intel connection to later delete pics off the crowd's phones? Heard pics disappeared, but I don't know if it's true. I did hear that as well, and I also don't know if that's true. I heard people saying that they had video, that they had pictures. I feel like we would hear about it a lot more if it was true, or maybe not. I'm not 100% sure. But yes, they were doing it to collect intel, I would assume. Or they were shooting like a MK Ultra ray down there. Like, tell him to turn himself in. And he's like, should I turn myself in? Yes. There's making sure, you know, little infrared laser kind of thing. I don't know. But yeah, apparently it was intel and surveillance. Why surveil that situation? To make sure it happens the way it's supposed to happen. Who would be surveilling? No idea. Gabby and West, first super chat. Crazy fact, Baron and Theo are the same age. Get out of here. Really? That's interesting. That is very interesting. That's very interesting. Wow. That is a crazy fact. Baron and Theo are the same age. That's like hearing that, you know, Cleopatra was closer to the invention of the iPhone than she was to the building of the pyramids. That's like one of those facts. You're like, what? You're like, hold on a second. Hold on. I don't know about all that. That's funny. That's funny. I had no idea. And even as I say I had no idea, I can't tell who I thought was older. Because I look at Baron, I'm like, did I think Baron was older or did I think Theo was older? I definitely thought Theo was younger. I think Theo's young. Theo seems like and looks like he's like 32 years old, you know? Interesting. That means he started comedy late. Well, not that late. Probably like late 20s. Or no, probably like mid 20s he started. That's still kind of late sometimes. I don't know. Heather, membership contest. I'm matching Miss Coach's free memberships if we can get those likes up. Let's go. I will start first. Wow. You guys aren't playing around. All right. I didn't know there was a membership war happening. One membership. Boom. Throws it in the air. Skinny throws a membership. 5 memberships in the air. Mark says, I'll see your 5 with another 5. Throws them in the air. Jeez, what's going on? Myra throws one in the air. Myra throws another one in the air. Heather throws one in the air. Wow, what's going on here, guys? Anyway, hold on. Annie has something to say here before we get into that. I have a suggestion. Would you consider not showing that little tyrant with bushy eyebrows like you don't show Balak's tones? I just can't stand his voice. Did I show him today? I didn't show him today. His voice anymore. Greetings from, what is this? I'll say Croatia. What's this part? Styria, Croatia. That sounds very nice. You know, I want to go to a place like Croatia, but I want to go to a small town. I don't want to be in the city. It seems like the downtown of every place I go to is just gross, you know? That is beautiful. Oh my gosh. Wow. You are from a beautiful place. Very beautiful place. I really want to go to Croatia. Check it out. But Moira again. Dee steps in. Dee says, okay, guys, calm down with these memberships for a second. Then she says, hey, coach, been praying for you and the missus and the little coach junior. Love y'all. Great vid as always. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that, Dee Dee. Thank you so much. Appreciate prayers. They are precious. Heather again with the memberships. Wow. Caramel kiss. Of course, Officer Tatum. Mountain Iba. Mountain Iba dance. That's worse than the way I do it. Jeez. Eddie Murphy buckwheat voice. I also hate the shape of his mouth. Wow. Too small for his face. I know, immature. I've said it. Looks like this. Oh, you won't be able to unsee it. Yuck. Wow. Tell us how you really feel about Mr. Tatum. Oh, what is this? Mountain evidence? No, mountain carpentry. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and get a membership. Oh, wow. You're going overboard there. And get a membership? I hope so. But liking and subscribing is good enough for us. Moody Cat joins the crew. James Wells, flip your Mickey Mouse ears and do the Tucker laugh. I only do that for the wife when the wife can't hear. There's no other reason. You know, like I had no idea that it even looked like. I've done this before, but I've never looked at it in a picture. I've done this so many times. When you're editing with people and you're like, I gotta get my headphones off, I don't go like this. I'm not like one of these guys. I go like this when I want to hear other people, and then I go back to this, and then I can kind of hear them. But the Tucker laugh, Mickey Mouse laugh, same thing. BB has a bobo called Candace. Zammit, man, what are you talking about? Has a bobo? You mean a girlfriend? Lance sends a membership. Whoa, what's going on now? Fleet sends a membership. T3B, can you please check your TT messages? What's TT? What the hell's TT? TT. Twitter? Instagram? TT? What the hell's TT? What is a TT message? Does anybody know what a TT message is? What's a TT message, guys? I don't know. I'll check them when I know what they are. Just sent that vid. Looks like the LT at Losi Center dropping off the screwdriver with Prince. Where? What? What are TT messages? TikTok? Yeah, I don't have TikTok. Or maybe I do have TikTok. I don't use TikTok, though. I don't keep it on my phone, though. Yeah, I guess it's TikTok. I guess. All right. I'm not downloading that app. Why is everything with BB so overly edited? You alive, bro? Hey, you alive or nah? What's going on with you? Gracie's in the garden again. I like that name. Always be true. Welcome to the crew, by the way. Always be true. It's almost like Benny J watched Zach Costello yesterday. Agent Smith does go where the wind blows, not waking up, trying to launder the president's image. Yeah, that's what I suspect. And again, I do like him. I do like Benny Johnson. I've been subscribed to Benny Johnson for quite some time. People who can take my enemy's land. People who can take over my enemy's land. Ben Shapiro, Erica, J.D. Vance, Lindsey Graham. That's my short list. Hill Ball. I mean God. That's hilarious. FT. Oh, follow the money of STN Nepo insider trader. TSN TS Nepo inside trader. Who are you talking about? Who are you talking about? Anyway. Let's keep going here. OP Irina says nothing. Miss Davis says nothing. Just shows us a mechanical animal. AKA, Coach, I sent you an email that I would recreate your JRE artwork with Candace or Baron to replace the one you have since Joe's a big fat liar. I don't think he's lying. I think it's weird. Yeah, I don't know if he's lying, but that'd be cool. You sent me an email about it? Like what, today? I assume today. I'll check. But yeah, that'd be cool. That'd be interesting to see. Jamie in the house. Coach, this is misdirection, keeping us from looking into the hundreds of thousands, nay, millions of missing kids last year, all of them witches. Oh gosh. Yeah. I mean, yeah, a lot of it's distraction. Hi, Coach. West Coast Cali conspiracy girly here. I'm excited to go back and watch some of your older videos, sending prayers for an easy labor. God bless all of you and the community. Love you guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate that. Really appreciate that. Lisa P, don't remember you ever saying Joe lied. Yeah, no, I didn't say he lied in that video. No. You just pointed it out. Joe and Jason should get together and study the logic book. The book of logic. The book of logic. Yeah, no, I never said that he lied. Definitely not. I think it's weird. I think it's really weird. Really weird thing to happen. Really weird explanation. Really weird that he's addressing it a second time. Just very weird. I live in my truck. Well, that's nice if it's a good enough truck. No denial of swingers. Admit it, Tyler. You guys are in the lifestyle with upside down pineapples. Oh, you go to Fantasy Fest in Key West every year. That's interesting. People don't know what he's talking about. He's talking about the swingers. And in fact, there's a lot of people in Utah. A lot of, I shouldn't say a lot, but the people that you see on TV that are LDS have these weird accusations around them about swinging, right? And these are not the most upstanding members. And I think some of them have even been excommunicated, like Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Like a couple of them, they have like ancestry all the way back to like the beginning of like people who were like the guard of like, I think John Smith. And, yeah, they've all been like in this weird swinger type thing. Then there's the I think it's called the Lives of Mormon Wives or something like that. They have accusations of swinging around them as well. So I don't know what that is. I don't understand that. I really don't. So anyway, let's keep on going. You think Tyler's doing that? I think that's possible. That way you can still have kids, you know, that whole kid thing he's talking about. Imagine like people are saying that about Tyler and he's like, absolutely not. And then somebody goes, you're bi. And he goes, oh yeah, I'm bi. Yeah, I'm definitely bi. Of course. Yeah. Well, no one's ever said that before. Yes, I am. I have been for quite some time. That'd be crazy. That'd be a trip. You're just calling him the wrong thing. You know, you might find it interesting to watch Tucker's episode on the Charlie Kirk show after the Big Bang around 16 minutes, 6 seconds. I will look at that. Supposed to revisit that. Zach Costello is also revisiting that. He was talking about it. We were having a conversation about revisiting things and what that all looks like. Consider how it holds up over time. What's your take? Well, I can't look into it right now. We're already past 3 hours. And I so have to urinate. Too much information, I know. Lance again with the memberships. Throwing them. I'll let you know my take tomorrow, though. Theo, so innocent. People start confessing. Live reaction of JR with Charlie Sheen is fake. Well, that was one of the things I was like speculating around. I'm like, could that be the thing? I'm like, he pre-records. I'm like, I don't know. You know, the whole thing was just weird. The whole thing surrounding that was just weird, you know? But yeah, I hear you there. I wonder how he knows lots of people were gay. That's funny. Sarah, yes. You know, you'd have to ask him. How does he know so many? How does he know so many? That is weird. In very hardcore conservative circles to know so many people. That is kind of odd. No? I think that's kind of weird. Maybe he knows 3 and he's just saying lots of people, you know? But if he knows like 15, it's like, that's kind of weird. That means you're seeking them out at that point, which is fine. they are some of the funnest people. You got to admit. They're fun people, right? You ever seen Will and Grace? Will and Grace is fantastic. Used to watch that show religiously as a kid. It's a fantastic show, right? They're very fun. But if you're seeking out, it's because you're curious, I would think, which is fine. Nobody minds, right? Member for 1 month. Like the video. Is he pointing at me? I'll like it. I will. He's pointing at all of you is what he's doing. Shout out to Lance. Appreciate you. Oh, we got some stuff that popped up here. We got to go back up all the way to Lance. Where's Lance at? There he is. Like the video, he says, guys. Yes, please hit that like button. It helps tremendously. There's 6,000 of you in here, and if 6,000 of you hit the like button, it could shoot this video into the next stratosphere. You've been here for this long already. Why not hit the like button and help us out a little bit? It does help tremendously. Piece of my chair fell off. This thing's held on by magnets. That's what they're doing with chairs now. I do like Secret Labs. I don't like the whole magnet thing. Give me screws, you know? Anyway, hit that like button, please. I've done less gay stiff in the back of Spencer. Oh, stuff. I've done less gay stuff in the back of Spencer's. Disaster D Media. Spencer's. Spencer's the store? You talking about the store Spencer's? Does that even exist anymore? I don't think that exists anymore. Or are you just talking about like your friend? You just got a friend named Spencer? Yeah, you used to go to the back, go to his house, go to the back, get into some stuff. That's all good. Hey, I got no problem with that. Disaster D. Is that what they used to call you back then? Disaster D? Oh, here he is. Spencer's like, hey guys, Disaster D's here. Anyway, let's keep going. Tyler is obviously Erica's gay bestie. Wow. I mean, you guys are laying into Tyler right now. Oh, jeez. I mean, he did have that energy for a second. Then he's like, she's an incredible human being. And I was like, I'm like, she might be. It did sound like that. I know. Power Bottoms, friend of the show. Well, that guy definitely a friend of the show. That guy was hilarious. I have to say, I lost that interview forever. Like, you can't find it anymore. I never even got to put it online. But that was the best interview experience I had ever, the best producing a podcast experience I have ever had, ever. It was so wild. The things he was telling us, it was just so crazy. We were like, what? And he's like, yeah. Oh my, I can't even tell you the stuff he was saying. Oh my God, RFK podcast, longest episode ever. Yeah, it's gonna be long episodes. Toyoki, MK Ultra, Honey Abyss fatality. Cash Patel's fatality. He just starts dousing you in honey until you can't move, and then you're completely frozen, and then he just goes and you just shatter into pieces. Cash Patel wins. Anyway, Moira throws a membership. Moira, what's going on, Moira? Mama Angie, Joe Rogan's explanation was uncomfortable to watch. Weird. Yeah, it was just weird. He's telling it to a guy who doesn't know. Usually, and that's the thing. I've watched Joe Rogan for a long time. I know how he reacts to things. I know how he addresses things. He will do 10 episodes and not address it until he's like with one of his friends where they're really like just talking about whatever. And then he'll bring it up and be like, yeah, a little while back, some people said this. It's just, you know, all those people, they're goofballs, they're crazy, blah, blah, blah. He'll just do some stuff like that. He doesn't usually just in front of a guy he doesn't know, I have to address this. Even to just say I have to address this, it's like, what? No, you don't. You're Joe Rogan. You actually don't have to address anything. And nothing happens to you. Spotify didn't want him to address it. Jamie probably could care less. Like, why do you have to address it? It was such a weird thing. And again, even weirder to say it in front of a guy who doesn't know what you're talking about. Joe Rogan's podcast is supposed to be a conversation. They weren't even talking about anything that would lead up to that. It's not like they were talking about Charlie Kirk and then all of it. It was just weird. The whole thing was weird. I don't get it. I really don't get it. But, you know, whatever. I'm sure he's okay. That's what I said before to somebody. I was like, yeah, you know what? The next time he renews his Spotify contract, he'll be worth like $1.1 billion. He's just fine. Everything's fine. Don't worry about it. He's okay. Ash of the Dead, RFK festivals were thrown through implementation science. He knows who these people are. He's known for a long time, if not his whole life. You're 100% right about that. I mean, he was a lawyer. I mean, he's always known about this. RFK festivals were thrown in California. Of course. Dave Wolf, welcome to the crew, the Mint Daddy crew. Power bottom and douche. 2 words not expecting to hear. Yeah, me too. When he said it, we was like, what? And he was a jacked guy, so he's like a real power bottom. He was like really jacked. Like solid looking guy. You know? Look like an Italian. You look like he'd be an Italian enforcer from Jersey. That's what he looked like. And he was just the most flamboyant dude. It was so funny. Girl with the voice. And such a cool guy. Girl with the voice. I was belly button girl in the chat. Oh, okay. You were belly button girl? The belly button girl? What did you say, belly button girl? I have no idea. Rebecca Myers, in one pic, Tyler Robinson has an Audi belly button. What? And in another picture, not the same person, was in Super Chat from last night. You guys were looking at Tyler Robinson's belly button in Baron's chat. What's going on in Baron's podcast? You guys are looking at belly buttons, innies and outies? This is wild behavior for the high IQ outfit. Wild behavior. And what did you discover from the belly buttons? So hold on, let me read that again. So one belly button picture had an outie, and then in another he had an innie. All right. Lance sends out another membership. Thank you so much, Lance. Appreciate you. Sway Diesel in the house. Support bacteria. They're the only culture some people have. That's so funny. They're the only culture some people have. Very high IQ dad joke there. Jamie sends out 5. Wow, look at Jamie go. And then we have Dave Wolf. I'll expect Candace to blast TB when she returns. She claims she has inside info. Yes, of course. Of course. She's talked about it many times. You're my dog's favorite show. Her name is Poppy, and she dances for you every time you say Black Poppy, my favorite part of the day. I know Black Poppy. Nunca, I know Black Poppy. That's amazing. It's pretty cool. Didn't realize I had that control in your household. Heather. Heather throws a membership. I mean, Sea Dog Coach. The plane could carry a Stingray to capture all the cell traffic in the area and maybe, perhaps, allegedly, steal contents. Interesting. That's very, very interesting. Okay. I did not realize that. I did not realize that was a thing that could be done. So, yeah, there you go when it comes to the planes, you know. Start a poll, start a Q&A. I didn't even know I could do that. Could start a poll. All right, let's see. Have people weigh in. Say innie. Okay, that's one. Howdy. There you go. Start that poll there. Which one? There you go. Poll for everybody there. We've started the poll. So you can Innie 0, Innie 100%, Innie 50, 67%, 77%, 100%. Innies have it. The Innies have it, ladies and gentlemen. 68% on the Innies, 64%, 66, 67% on the Innies, 68%, 67 on the Innies, 69 on the Innies. Let's go, guys. 67. The Innies are losing steam. 62, back up to 66, 64, 65. on the innies. Oh my gosh. 66, 67 on the innies. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh my gosh. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for everything you guys do. You guys are truly, truly, truly appreciated. Yeah, those Audis are far and few between. Audis are at 32%. They can't even make their way up. They're 31%. It's getting lower. The Audis have no chance of winning whatsoever, ladies and gentlemen. The innies are at 69%. Nice. 70%. Innies, it's back to 69. Thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate you guys. We are at almost 3.5 hours. We went a little longer than expected. Somebody said I need a recount. We need to bring the judges in. Or the judges here. Check out all the innies and outies. You know, make sure. Just take it easy, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. What is today? Today is Thursday. Today's Thursday. We are coming closer and closer to that day, ladies and gentlemen. That fun baby day that we are going to have. We are getting we are inching. There's days left. There's days left. Just made mine. Days left. Yeah, the wife has a innie, but now it's an outie. Because when you're 9 months pregnant, there's no other choice. You gotta everything gets wide. Everything gets like, you know, it's like boom, it just pops out. So anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for being here. We're gonna be here tomorrow. I don't know what's going on with Baron. I don't think he goes live today, or he might. We will all know when the time comes. And I'll bring you more updates of what's going on. Don't stop the stream before you're done. You're like 30 seconds behind real time, and you'll get cut off. What does that mean? What do you mean I'll get cut off? Don't stop the stream before you're done. I don't stop the stream before I'm done. What are you talking about? I never stop the stream before I'm done. Never. But whatever. What could I? Oh, I think you mean like a different, I don't know. Whatever. I gotta go. Anyways, guys, I will see you tomorrow, 10 a.m. sharp or 10:15.